Hello, Durud and Shalom. We be live. Hi, guys. How's my audio? We're back. We're back at war. Holy crap. Did you guys see? We're back at it. How's my audio? Let me know because I want to play this right away. Okay, here.
CENTCOM says that U.S. forces have begun launching more strikes against Iran just moments ago. The strikes are meant to stop Iran's attacks on commercial shipping vessels. All right, Joey, going back to you on that, talking about Lindsey Graham and, of course, his stance on the war with Iran, or the endeavor in Iran, I guess we will call it. And then now to more strikes. We probably knew this was coming, but what's your reaction to, I guess?
Guys, apparently the blockade is back on the Iranian ports. This has just happened, I think. I'm going to make sure that this is correct. Also, the UK made the IRGC, designated the IRGC as a terrorist group. Finally, better late than never, but it happened.
The building intensity here.
Yeah, I think I'm probably sounding more like Lindsey Graham every day, so call that what you want. I understand this a little bit, but the regular American sitting at home is probably sitting there going, if every time they do something bad, we have this list of targets that we say will stop them from firing or attacking on ships, why don't we just take out that whole list and then they can't do something bad? It's more complex than that, but if the administration doesn't tell us more, that's what we have left to deduce. Or if they want to say every time they're striking that strike has a positive effect on their ability to attack ships, it makes you wonder, are they still gathering intel? Do they not know exactly where these drones and fast boats are coming from? Are they having to kind of figure it out as they go? Are these tertiary and way down the line targets that may not have an effect? I think that's what a lot of people, even inside the decision-making process, are trying to deduce is, do we have a list of targets? Do we know where these drones are coming from? Do we have the ability to stop them, or is it just costing a lot of money because of the type of weapons we're using to strike those places?
I'm verifying some news to make sure this is true. Guys, look at this. Look at this. The UK finally is, okay. I know it's late, but better late than never. Watch this.
Breaking news, the UK government is moving to proscribe the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and various other bodies. This is a written statement by the Minister of State for Security, saying that the National Security Act of 2026 provides law enforcement and intelligence agencies with additional tools to disrupt and deter foreign power threat activity directed against the United Kingdom and its interests. Provides power for the Home Secretary to designate bodies involved in foreign power threat activity where it is necessary to protect the safety or interests of the United Kingdom. Designation introduces new criminal offences relating to supporting, assisting, or obtaining material benefit from a designated body, where an individual engages in espionage, sabotage, or foreign interference for or on behalf of that body. The maximum penalty for those offences reaches life imprisonment. So there's various details being shared to us. It's quite a long statement by the UK government, but they have said, having carefully considered all of the evidence, the Home Secretary has concluded there is sufficient basis to reasonably believe those bodies are engaged in foreign power threat activity and that designation is necessary to protect the safety and interests of the United Kingdom.
Unbelievable. Wow. The walls are closing in. Monkey, you're here.
Yes.
Okay. What did you see? So for the war is back.
Yes.
Blockade is back. And the UK finally put the IRGC on a terrorist list.
I mean, been a long time coming.
Yeah. Holy crap. Okay. Oh, there's a blackboard above you. You want to fix that? I see that. You see? Oh, there you go. Fixed. Okay. Watch this. President Trump is also commenting on all of this.
Lindsey Graham was definitely on your side when it comes to Iran and the threat, them not having a nuclear weapon. It looks like they're back at their business trying to take over the Strait. What's your response?
Well, we're taking over the Strait. They have nothing. They've got nothing. So something that nobody knows, yesterday they had an 11-hour meeting. Everything's 11 hours with these guys. You can't settle a one sentence in 1 hour and 1 minute. It should be 1 minute. And everything was agreed to yesterday. And They leave the room, and they call back, and they say, we had to make a couple of changes. I said, changes? They got to make changes? We're not going to make changes. Always changes. They just, they're professional negotiators. That's all they are. I don't even call them good at it. They haven't gotten anything. They got nothing from me. But if you look, for 47 years, they've been tapping people along, presidents. Every president got tapped along, didn't do anything, and they became more and more powerful. This should have been done 47 years ago. Shouldn't have been allowed to start. But Clinton let him go, and Bush let him go. Everybody let him go, and Obama was the worst of all, because Obama actually went to their side. Obama, because, he's well, let's not say. Let's leave that for another time. He was terrible. And he allowed Iran to, but he gave them $1.7 billion in cash, in green cash, put in satchels in an airplane and brought to Iran. $1.7 billion. Do you know what that is? Did you ever see $1 million in cash? This is $1.7 billion. It took up an entire Boeing 757, and they flew it to Tehran, and they gave it to people that were waiting at a plane. Can you imagine these people? They never saw money, and now all of a sudden they've got $1.7 billion in cash, and he gave them hundreds of billions of dollars in cash and everything else. And he went to their side, and because of that, they became much more powerful because of Obama and Biden, who was the vice president, but he probably had nothing to say because he was not such a stupid person. But then Biden, when Biden came in, and then I held him down, I stopped him, and the JCPOA, I stopped it, and stopped it really, really powerfully. I ended that agreement was the worst. Somebody said C. Maybe it's the C. It ends with the C. That agreement is the worst agreement that has been signed by this country. That's the top 5 bad agreements. And that basically gave them everything. And they built and built and built. And they were minutes away from a nuclear weapon. Mm-hmm. Had I not terminated the agreement, the Iran nuclear deal, it's called, they would have had a weapon then. Had I not killed Khomeini, who was a brilliant but mad general. He was a crazy Soleimani. I killed Soleimani. Soleimani was like one of the really, really bad people in this whole thing. Right. But he was good at what he did. He was a very...
Anyways, what do you think, Monkey, about the recent developments?
I mean, it had to happen. All of the NATO allies should have been on board from the start. That's just obvious to me. And that's a lot of money to put on a plane and give to these people.
No, but what do you think about the fresh new attacks? I mean, it's not as big as Operation Epic Fury, but it is getting bigger. It is like much bigger than the tap ceasefire.
Well, as far as I know, it's all along the southern coastline.
No, they got into central areas as well, just a little bit, but it's a lot more massive. Like they're basically hitting. It is southern, and most of it is southern, but it's very intense.
I'd have to look again at the target specifically. Like I just got back. I was dealing with some stuff and had some power problems over here. I'd have to look at the target list, but being at the bottom, I don't know. Maybe something's gonna happen at the southern coast. There's a lot of.
Let me actually show people what this looks like. So these are U.S. strikes in southern Iran. U.S. airstrikes hit southern Iran as the conflict between Washington and the Islamic Republic continues to escalate. The U.S. has destroyed Iranian military bases. Look at this is still southern, but it's a lot more significant than what we used to see. And guys, I see your super chat. We will respond to them soon. Hold on.
That looks like a good hit.
Yeah.
But it's all the military bases in the south?
Yep.
Okay.
It's beautiful. President Trump posted on Truth Social. You want to read this, Monkey? Or do you want me to read it? Oh, it's monkey.
The wait a minute.
Okay, I could do
The
it.
harm.
Okay. There
Okay,
we go.
go
Okay,
for
go
it.
ahead. Good. No, go ahead. I thought you're not ready. Go ahead.
The Hormuz Strait is open and will remain open with or without Iran. We're reinstating the Iranian blockade, so named because it is only stopping Iran's ships or customers from entering or leaving. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. The USA will be, from this point forward, known as the guardian of the Strait of Hormuz, or the guardian of the Hormuz Strait. I'm sorry. But as such, and as a matter of fairness, will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo shipped for any and all costs necessary to do the job of providing safety and security to the very volatile section of the world. Everybody says this, everybody knows it's very volatile. The process and formation will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump.
That was perfect. That was good. But Texas saying drunk Trump, when you do it. It's
Yes. When I do it, I am kind of drunk Trump.
Okay,
He doesn't drink though, as far as I know.
Yes, I know he doesn't. He doesn't. But your version of Trump does.
Yes.
Let me know if this puts you in a good mood, because some Iranians made this. Look at this. Some Iranians made this for Lindsey Graham. I'll go back to President Trump at the current military operations, but I just saw this on my feed, and I just wanted to show you this. This is Mohammad Reza Shah welcoming Lindsey Graham to heaven. Okay, wait, that song is copyrighted. I'm gonna stop that. But yeah, so this I saw this on my feed. Thought you might like it because it has. Oh, wait, pause.
Like, if you look at his life, right? Like, his parents died. He takes care of his sister. He's always on the side of stopping these autocratic tyrants, like his tireless effort up until his last day with us. He was working very hard to, for people like the Iranian people, the Ukrainian people, the American people. Like, these are, if you look at his last 4 or 5 appearance, he was a tireless fighter for the good of the world. So, among those who, are believers, we would think that he would merit, ascendance to a higher plane.
Okay. Yeah, I know, because you're a Christian, so I thought you would appreciate that. That's
I
why.
do.
Yes. Okay. So I do want to go back to President Trump's Truth Social post. And analyze it, saying the Strait of Hormuz is open and will remain open with or without Iran. So to be fair, the Strait of Hormuz is not completely open, but it's not as close as the Islamic Republic wants it to be. And it's saying we are reinstating the Iranian blockade. This is what we were hype. This is good news. This is the least we were, they could do, and we were hoping that they would at least do that. This is the most important announcement. Let me see. What did that do? What did that do to oil prices? Oh my God, we're still under 80. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. I mean, I thought like it would shut. Wow, we're still under 80 apparently. Okay. Even with the blockade back.
Even with a 20%.
Even with the 20%? What do you mean? Oh, yes, this one. Yeah. Okay, yes. So the blockade is so named because it's only stopping Iran ships or customers from entering or leaving. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. The USA will be, from this point forward, known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait, but as such, and as matter of fairness will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo ships for any and all costs necessary to do. That's a lot, 20%, honestly. I don't
That is a
know.
lot because I kind of understand it. Because okay, you think it's bad to pay a toll? Thank you. That's what I've been saying. You don't like tolls? Oh, then you don't want the Iran toll because mine is definitely temporary and theirs is definitely permanent.
This is not a toll, though. This is a service charge, which is different. Because the Islamic Republic, when they were pretending to do a service charge, they were lying, because a service charge for what? You're the one who's causing the insecurity for the ships, right? But from the United States, I don't know if this is going to be collected or not. We have to see, because things that are said are not always as are not going to be necessarily what happens. But honestly, if United States collects anything, that makes sense to me, because the Islamic Republic is causing insecurity, and you can't just expect the United States military to just come provide free services for your security there. So it makes sense for them to charge for it, right? I don't know if
It
20%.
is so expensive to be there. Like this is why we love Israel. Because it is
Yes.
so expensive to have a military there, right? Like when you give Israel a little bit of a discount on your F-35s, like as much as we were giving them, like as much as a year's worth of Minnesota fraud, because that's about what we were giving them, probably less. If we're going to be honest, if we're going to look at the raw numbers, probably less. If we're going to look at the net numbers, way less, right? When that's what we're giving them, a little discount. So you guys, by defending yourself, you guys are helping our interest because we have interest in common. So I help you out, and I don't have to send my ships over there. I don't have to have my people over there doing this stuff. Now we got to do it ourselves because things have escalated, right? And it is so expensive to run a blockade. It is so expensive to have carrier operations and ships always going up around and around, refuelers, all the stuff, the air tankers. It's ungodly expensive. It's so bad, but it has to be done.
That is actually a very important point. Thank you for making it, because this should remind you like how much how much money Israel is saving you. If there was no Israel, then United States would, for its own sake, have to be all over this place to be able to secure maritime trade, not just for oil and gas, but for everything. And imagine people are like, oh, Israel is costing us money. No, Israel is saving you so much money. You could just see just the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. military there, how expensive it is for them to be there and provide that service, and they have to get paid for it. But you see how much Israel has been doing all of this for themselves, but how much United States has been saving. It's in the trillions. It's in the trillions of dollars. Israel has saved American taxpayer trillions and trillions of dollars because of them just being there and doing all of this.
I'd love to see the raw numbers. I think if I like last time I looked, I was absolutely sure, and this is not something I said. The administration said so itself. They were talking about the operation about I think this was about 2 months ago. They said, look, this operation has cost less than the fraud in Minnesota. Like this is not this is expensive, but our economy is so strong that it doesn't really make this huge dent because these people really care. Oh my God, we're spending so much, but they don't want to look at the billions upon billions of dollars that we have in fraud in our system. If we eliminated the fraud, we would have enough money to run this operation 24/7 for 2 years at least. There's so much fraud in our nation, and to compare that to the small amount of money we give Israel, to the amount of money we're spending on securing long-term stability here, it's it's just a false equivalence. It's hypocrisy. When you look at the numbers, this is the right thing to do.
Look at this. Let me see if this is a different one. I think it is.
So, Mr. President, Lindsey Graham was.
Wait. Before we do the, is this mostly about Lindsey Graham or about Iran? All right, let me see. We could do both. Yeah, it's both. Okay. Let me actually respond to the super chats before we respond to that. Noah, thank you so much for the super chat saying, Sob Bakhair, Armin. Hope your morning is going well. Sob Bakhair to you. Thank you. Sob Bakhair, guys, means good morning. Thank you, Noah. I appreciate you saying that. Appreciate you. Good morning. And Sob Bakhair to everyone who is soap for them. If it's not soap, then Shab Bakhair, Asr Bakhair, Bad Azur Bakhair. So basically, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are. And thank you, Justin, for the super chat saying, does Trump sound a little under the weather to anyone else? Mikey, did he sound like under the weather to you?
Well, I would like, we have to understand. It could absolutely be what the thing with Lindsey Graham. He must have had to talk to a lot of people about this, family members, people that know him. As far as I know, they were kind of close. They worked together on a lot of issues, had to talk about a lot of issues. And when you have someone that works closely with you, is a friend, passes away, it might affect you. He might be a little sad. He might have had to be on the ball just talking to a lot of people and giving condolences and making arrangements. And this would make him redouble, not maybe redouble on specific things that Lindsey wanted, but like his projects. The SAVE Act was one of his projects. Helping out Ukraine was one of his projects. Not just his, but things that he wanted done. And I think he would definitely be not just in contact with those people, but trying to be as tireless as Lindsey was. He may just be tired and sad.
And then we got another super chat from Shauna saying, hold on, okay, let me see. Here's President Trump. Did you see what Trump did to Spain? They folded.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
they
what
folded
happened?
immediately.
Ooh, love to. Okay, Trump and Spain. I will bring that up. What happened? Tell us.
Well, they didn't want to fulfill their obligations. Trump said we are cutting all trade, and then they said, "Oh, I think we're going to fund our obligations."
No way. They folded. This is so humiliating. So yeah, Trump froze U.S. trade with Spain in a NATO dispute. I'm not seeing the news that they folded, but Spain and P drops bombshell truth. Do you really think the mothers of? Nope. Okay, so people are angry in Spain. The leftists in Spain are angry. Okay, so So this was what happened earlier, and then we'll go. This is what we already saw this part.
We're disappointed with most of them. Spain is a horror show. Spain is terrible, even from your standpoint. I mean, they don't want to pay anything. They think they're in for a free ride. Spain is not a good group. Not a good group at all. But I have great respect for this man.
Okay, but then I'm not saying where the news where Spain folded. Despite the geographic distance, Spain is always with its allies. Okay, I just see this. Apparently, this woman really angry in Spain's parliament, saying, "Do you really think the mothers of 160 dead girls will thank Trump for killing their children?" Is she talking about Minab? You have become Trump's lackey. A Spanish parliamentarian just said what very few in the world dare to say. What do you mean? Everybody's saying this on social media. What?
Es usted una ridícula. No se da cuenta que está lamiendo las botas de quien
I don't know what's happening, but it seems like they're angry.
She called her a bootlicker. Lamiendo las botas means licking the boots.
Okay, so that means that they have folded if she's that angry.
Oh, she's furious.
Okay. Also, how dare you talk about Minab? You have no idea what happened there. You are so ignorant, and you're just. I mean, maybe they're not ignorant. Maybe they're just lying. But But you have no idea what happened in Iran, so shut the hell up. Anyways, we got an Shona, thank you for that great news. I appreciate that. Yeah, Ghalibov profile pic. Thank you so much for the super chat saying the UK hasn't done it yet. We get a new prime minister on Sunday. He's more left than Starmer. I got the news that it's done. I was right wrong about that because guys, we got the news that the UK has finally put the IRGC under a categorization of them being a terrorist group. So you're saying they haven't done it yet. I got the news that they have, so maybe I was wrong about that. But everywhere is reporting that it has already happened, so we'll see. Okay, if I'll keep an eye on it, Ghalibov. And thank you, Ghalibov. Something I never thought I would say. Thank you, Ghalibov, for the super chat. And then we have George with another super chat saying you need to consider net costs. Carrier groups and the military as a whole together operate, whether they're in a kinetic operation or not. That is a built-in cost. So the actual cost is the expense of munitions. Yeah, which is huge. The actual cost of that is huge. I'm pretty sure the cost of them sitting there and doing nothing and them being there and defending ships. I think the difference between the costs is astronomical. Not right, Monkey?
Absolutely. Munitions cost is why we are changing to directed energy weapon. That's why that venture is gaining so much. Like that is pretty much the future. Like directed energy defense weaponry is pretty much the future. Israel already has it, and they are trying to do some of that in space. And the meme is becoming a reality. The Jewish space lasers are coming, folks, and they're going to be able to defend themselves from all these aerial bombardments.
Yeah, finally, that's going to become a real thing. All right, let's listen to Trump here.
So, Mr. President, Lindsey Graham was definitely on your side when it comes to Iran and the threat, them not having a nuclear weapon. It looks like they're back at their business trying to take over the Strait. What's your response?
Well, we're taking over the Strait. They have nothing. They've got nothing. So something that nobody knows, yesterday they had an 11-hour meeting. Everything's 11 hours with these guys. You can't settle a one sentence in 1 hour and 1 minute. It should be 1 minute. And everything was agreed to yesterday. And they leave the room and they call back and they say, we had to make a couple of changes. I said, changes? They got to make changes? We're not going to make changes. Always changes. They just, they're professional negotiators. That's all they are. I don't even call them good at it. They haven't gotten anything. They got nothing from me. But if you look, for 47 years, they've been tapping people along, presidents. Every president.
Yeah, I think we heard that part already, the rest of it. Well, actually, let me play it for the people who haven't heard
it. They got tapped along, didn't do anything, and they became more and more powerful. This should have been done 47 years ago. Shouldn't have been allowed to start. But Clinton let him go, and Bush let him go. Everybody let him go, and Obama was the worst of all because Obama actually went to their side. Obama, because, he's a...
Well, I want to hear the updates regarding what's happening right now. We got this. This guy is back, the speaker for Khatem al-Anbiya headquarters. Let me see. Oh, it's 1 minute. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Oh my God. Oh my God, he's back. He's back. So he's saying we will not under any circumstances allow the United States to interfere in the management of the Strait of Hormuz. Not now, not ever. I mean, keep doing that. This is what we want you to do, because that will just mean that we're going to have more military operation against you guys. This is what we want. This guy is on our side, Monkey. I think this guy is on our side because it's the Ghalibov people who, I mean, I'm kidding, I'm just saying unknowingly they're on our side. Is he fake? No, he's not fake. This was posted by Open Source Intel. No, he's not.
I know what he's talking about. There is a version of him they're making out there that's cartoon, like a funny meme they're making about him. So that might be what people are talking about. They're selling him like he's a G.I. Joe or something.
Oh yeah, but this is real. No, this guy is not fake. Yes. This guy is real. Yeah,
this is the real one, folks.
Yeah, this is a real one. Yeah. Okay, but again, these are the people who are, the way their aggression. This helps us because Ghalibaf and Pezeshkian and Arakchi, they're the ones who might be able to save the Islamic Republic. These people and their insistence on constantly, going with maximum aggression. This is what would get the whole world to realize that the Islamic Republic cannot be tolerated and needs to go away, needs to collapse. It's only Ghalibaf and Arakshi and Pezeshkian type of people who might be able to fool the world to just let the Islamic Republic go away, right? To allow the Islamic Republic to survive and the rest of the world going away without actually toppling them. But these are the people who, with what they're saying and what they're doing, they're helping us actually build a narrative that no, the Islamic Republic cannot be tolerated, right?
It cannot be. We can't have this anymore. I let him keep yapping. The more he yaps, the better. The more it proves that these people can't be dealt with. I mean, they can be dealt with, but you can't negotiate with them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Oh, look at this. Wait, great. So Push-Ups is saying, look at this. Push-Up is saying, go support. Thank you so much, Push-Ups, for the super chat, saying, go support Monkey's channel. Great change of pace. There you go. I'll put the link in the chat to Monkey's channel. Let me put it for you guys. Go subscribe to him. You're at 640. Okay, we're going to get to, guys, we're going to go for 1,000 for subscribers to Monkey's channel so that we could, so that he could get monetized and so that he could get super chats on his channel as well. Okay, so let's try to get him to 1,000. I'll put the link in the chat one more time. And thank you, Monkey, for everything you do. And you're growing fast. You're growing really fast. This is fantastic.
I'm going to try to make the goal 650.
650 for today, guys. So 10 subscribers for today, and we will reach Monkey's goal. So fantastic. Eventual goal is to get him to 1,000 so he could monetize his channel. All right, let's look at this. General McKinsey had an amazing suggestion that I saw so many people talking about it. I mean, this suggestion was already made, but the fact that General McKinsey came out and now is pushing for it again to take over Kharg Island, I saw on social media, this was getting a lot of attention, and many analysts were talking about it. The fact that he's pushing for it, might suggest that the Americans are going to do it because, we had the threats to President Trump's life. We had the Islamic Republic celebrating Lindsey Graham's death. We had them attacking the ships. We had the Islamic Republic coming and responding to President Trump's ultimatum to open the Strait of Hormuz, with them closing it, trying to close it completely. So I think if there was any patience for these Tuckers, there's no patience left. And now they're openly coming back and seriously, like people high ups are suggesting that Kharg Island needs to be taken over, need to be possessed by the Americans. So this is a plan that might be there. We might be going to full boom booms and escalating military operation, kinetic military operations. And if they take Kharg Island, we're basically entering a whole new phase of everything. Everything is going to change. So let's look at this.
I was just looking back at my last conversation on Face the Nation with Lindsey Graham, and the senator said, if this deal fails, President Trump is going to take the Strait of Hormuz over by force. The U.S. will control the Strait of Hormuz. That was 3 weeks ago. How does the United States end up controlling the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, Margaret, we certainly have the capability to control the Strait of Hormuz if the president chooses to follow that course of action. Look, what he's been trying to do is get to a diplomatic and a political solution here, which I applaud, and I think we should all want to see as the final end state. Nonetheless, the fact of the matter is the Iranians generally only respond to military force and to extreme pressure. Look, we're not talking about regime change here. What we're talking about is modifying the views and actions of an extreme hardline regime. That is possible We have the capability to do that. That capability is resident in the U.S. military, should the president elect to employ it. That would include opening the Strait of Hormuz, maintaining the Strait of Hormuz open, and in fact, seizing Kharg Island, should we elect to do that. And I would just say, as an aside, that's something we should think about doing, because possession of Iranian soil would be a significant factor in future negotiations with Iran. So all those options are on the table. I'm not sure where we're going to go with this, but I do know we have these capabilities.
We have those capabilities, but the president has made clear he kind of just wants he wants a deal here. How do you explain to the layperson when the president says we control the Strait of Hormuz, but then CENTCOM says military forces are positioned to ensure freedom of navigation, which makes it sound it isn't exactly free-flowing traffic here?
No, it's not right now, because we have not deployed all the capabilities that we have to open the strait. We certainly can do that. It would require putting warships up into narrow waters. Look, the U.S. Navy doesn't love to do that, but they're very good at it. And if necessary, they can do it, and they can do it well. You got to go back to the basic principle of Iranian statecraft, which is regime preservation.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to gain concessions from Iran, you have to directly pressure the regime, and you have to do so in a way that perhaps is existential to them. We have those capabilities should the president choose.
Okay, what do you think about that, Monkey?
Look, he's just being realistic, right? You can't deploy everything all at once. That's not how it works. You have to ramp up, right? And that's what we have been seeing. We have been seeing some ramping up of the pressure on the IRGC.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to take the Kharg Island? Do you think that's going to be a thing?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. They would have to eliminate all the bases even close for miles to the coast. Like, that would be one of the first things to do, because first you eliminate all bases on the coast, then you eliminate all bases about 50 or 100 miles inside of the coast, so that any movement from troops towards the coast you can see from the air, right? And then you can start talking about taking the island. But the islands, they would take a few. But first, you would have to ramp up strikes, secure the straits, make sure that they're not getting any resupplies. And you'd have to, well, yeah, you'd probably start with the trains. So you take care of the north first, because those routes it's harder to transport over land. You've talked about this many times. People think, oh, well, if they get a pipe in another place, it's going to be enough. And you're like, no. A pipe can't transport as much. A tanker cannot transport as much supplies. This also goes for the dual-use supplies. This also goes for the solid rocket fuel. And closing the strait is very important for that. Secondary, I would put rail is one of the biggest ways to supply. And then tertiary, I might put in their trucks. But if you have something like a big defense operation, you'd start with the trains and then secure the whole south, close the strait. I think, that's where it seems to be going.
When do you think, because you said that the right thing to do is to start all of the, escalate the military operations before the midterms. When do you think that would happen?
This week.
This week? Oh, okay.
I think it's just going to keep escalating, because they're going to supply, like they're giving us the rope to hang on, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's another thing that we need to take into account. Israel might rejoin pretty soon. Look at this.
The attempt to revive this truce between the United States and Iran clearly has just collapsed. This was just an attempt to have a pause to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, frankly. It was pretty limited in scope, but then the IRGC fired on a commercial vessel. The United States has resumed bombing. For the moment, Iran has not fired on Israel. Israel has not fired on Iran. Does Israel intend to stay on the sidelines? How do we see this conflict at this point?
President Trump has been consistent, I think, throughout this confrontation. If talks will work, if diplomacy can work, then he's in favor of the diplomatic route. But when it doesn't work, you have to go back to military and kinetic activity. When the United States signed the MOU with Iran just a few weeks ago, there was one item, just one thing that the Iranians had to fulfill. And that was keeping the straits open. And that they've completely ignored. So they forced the U.S. to go back into kinetic activity. We're a partner or an ally. If the United States calls on us to rejoin kinetic activity against Iran, we're going to be there for the United States.
But at the moment, the U.S. is asking you to wait.
I didn't say that. I said the United States has not asked us to join the effort. But if that request will come in, we're going to be there.
Yeah, do you think? Why are you angry, Monkey? Oh my God, Monkey's angry.
I'm doing some research over here, and this is very unsettling.
What happened? Tell me.
I'm looking at how much fraud there is in Minnesota, and it's so astronomical because I made the comparison, right? Look, what we spend on Israel is really as much as it's about as much as we spend on Minnesota fraud. Then I started looking at the fraud, and it is so aggravating. Oh my God.
Wow. Well, do you want to get more angry? I have something here.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not that. I mean, this doesn't require a response. It's just the Islamic Republic foreign ministry spokesperson. Let me. Do I want to play this, or should I just read the channel?
اسرائیل عادل هست. در رابطه با
You know what? I'll just read the caption for you guys. I don't want to have time. So he basically saying the angel of death has done justice by killing Lindsey Graham. So he's praising. This is the guys. This is not like this is supposed to be the sophisticated, more moderate part of the Islamic Republic, right? The spokesperson for the foreign ministry. And like this is not supposed to be like the IRGC or the Durka Jihadi Paidari people, right? This is supposed to be the more mellow, like the more civilized part of the Islamic Republic who pretend that they are, nicer and more moderate. They pretend that.
Are these technically the suits?
Yeah, this is the suits. Exactly. This is the suits, right? And he's coming out and saying that the angel of death has done justice by taking Lindsey Graham. He said Lindsey Graham was wicked. He praised his death and said no free person should mourn him. And this account is saying nothing exposes the Iranian regime more clearly than whom it celebrates losing. Graham's enemies understood exactly what he stood for. Yeah, but this is actually even worse because this is not like the people in the streets shouting. This is not like an IRGC leader shouting or the speaker of Khatam al-Anbiya. This is supposed to be the diplomatic part of the Islamic Republic, and that's how they're speaking. So imagine what the rest of them are like.
I mean, this just proves, look, like between you and me, I can't get that mad at that because this is them coping, this is them deflecting, right? When I'm sure at some point we're gonna show Americans being absolute pieces of shit, and like I'm sure that's coming at some point. Maybe not here, maybe we'll see it tomorrow, maybe we'll see it today. I'm sure that is gonna like upset me a little. But I do expect these people to cope and deflect because they're not getting any wins. They want to distract the people. They don't want to face the fact that where the hell is Mujtaba? They don't want to face the fact that he didn't come out for the funeral. They don't want to face the fact that their estimates of attendance were extremely low. They don't want to face their losses. So they want to latch on to a subject that's going to deflect from their problems. And I don't think people are going to buy it. So this isn't going to take me to a high level of rage. I think we'll probably see that later. Like with this, but this is only something I know because I watch Liberty Politics, right? That's the only reason I know that. Like people on the street, well, not on the street in Iran, people that are not aware of the amount of infighting might not know that this is just yes, Texas saying pathetic. That this is some of their deflection, coping, trying to take credit for a win they didn't get, and that's why this just shows them to be of low moral character. This just shows them to be scummy, but it's not actually a win for them. It's an act of desperation. What do you think? Am I onto something here?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're basically they need to do this because if he said anything else, the pro-regime people would be frustrated. So he's forced to And I mean, it's a frustration of the pro-regime people for lack of action. So the least he could do is celebrate Lindsey Graham, because if he did anything else, then they will, I don't know, skin him alive, or basically they will even lose more support from their, from their base of support, the last remaining base of support that they have. Okay, do you want to see some bad takes? Oh, before we go to bad takes, say it. Thank you so much for the super chat, saying thank you, Armin and Grease Monkey. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. And then say it also. Give us a second super chat saying for the confetti. Yes, we got confetti. We got to our goal already with super chats. Thank you so much, Sayed. Appreciate you getting us there. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, Monkey, do you want to see some bad takes regarding the military operations right now? I haven't watched this, but given who this person is, do you know who this person is?
You know what? This is one I haven't reacted to. Like I've heard the name. The name is familiar, but I haven't seen. I don't even know what it looks like until right now.
Okay, so this is Trita Parsi. He's with he's the founder of Nayak, which is for some reason an institution that is the lobby of the Islamic Republic in Washington D.C., which is illegal. And then he still does his thing. Him and his organization Nayak in Iran should be illegal, but it's for some reason not. I mean, they're allowed them to operate. It's a direct extension of the Islamic Republic in Washington D.C., and they have access to they influence a lot of think tanks. They lobby the government. They are always on the media. They get invited to podcasts, Al Jazeera, BBC. BBC loves inviting these people. So I don't know what he's going to say. I have no idea what he's going to say. I haven't pre-watched this, but let's see what he has to say, okay?
So, Trita, it's always good to have you with us here on BBC
Thank
News. How do you assess this back and forth, continuing back and forth we're seeing between the U.S. and Iran, particularly over the Strait of Hormuz?
I think this is an extremely negative development, and there is, of course, a risk that this exchange of fire now, without fundamentally changing the situation in favor of either side, nevertheless manages to close the pathway back to negotiations. Remember how difficult it was to just get the MOU. Weeks passed in which fighting continued to the detriment of the entire global economy without really fundamentally changing.
What do you mean detriment to the global economy? The global economy, like Monkey, did I miss anything? The global economy was doing fine.
Look, this guy is what you call so full of shit that he is redundant. He is poop on poop, a turd on a stool. This guy's just lying. Like this isn't something that's happening in reality. This is rhetorical. He's just using language as a tool of propaganda for his desired outcome. He's manifesting this. This is not something that's happening in reality.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, everybody, these people keep saying like, oh no, the global economy, this and this and that, right? But I think they just want to manifest it because it didn't happen. The global economy didn't suffer in the way that these people suggested it did. I mean, S&P went, broke record high levels, and S&P, guys, is the global economy because American companies are global. American companies have customers everywhere, so the global economy is doing fine. The global economy ended up being a lot more resilient than these people were pretending. I think this was a huge loss. Like, they were so hoping by closing the Strait of Hormuz, so that there is so denial that did not happen, and so they just went with the narrative that it did happen, even if it didn't happen.
Look, let's be real, right? Leftists hate math. So they're not going to give any numbers. They're not going to quote any. If there was anything that they could quote, oh, gas is so and so high. The barrel is so and so expensive, but they can't do that because it would deflate their point. It would go against their point, right? So this just proves that they can't talk about what they're speaking mathematically, so they do it emotionally.
Exactly. wait. Oh my God, somebody was saying, does Trita? Okay, this is a good question. There was a question in the chat regarding. So there was a question in the chat that does Trita advise the White House? Not. I mean, his institution does, but I know he has direct connections to Vance. I forgot. I'll bring the receipts next time. But Trita, Parsi, Muhammad Ali Elahi, and Sohrab Ahmari, basically IRGC lobby to Vice President JD Vance, should be investigated. So a lot of Iranians have shown how through this guy over here, Trita Parsi has managed to get in the circle of influence of JD Vance. So that's something you need to be worried about. Yeah. So let me continue here.
Another reason people don't like him.
Yep, another reason. When that was revealed, that was like very. Yeah, so this was you could say this expose. Expose and stop an undisclosed foreign influence in U.S. government. This was something that a few weeks ago. I should have covered this. Now it's too late, but I should have covered this when it happened. But a few weeks ago, this was a big deal. People found a connection between him, this man, and JD Vance. But yeah,
this exchange of fire now, without fundamentally changing the situation in favor of either side, nevertheless manages to close the pathway back to negotiations. We remember how difficult it was to just get the MOU. Weeks passed in which fighting continued to the detriment of the entire global economy without really fundamentally changing anything before the MOU actually was achieved. And after this, in which further trust and confidence between the two sides are further depleted, it's likely going to be even more difficult without, again, changing the fundamentals of the situation in favor of either side.
Do you have any insight into how the regime?
He's both siding it. You know, this is what they do. Okay, so this is part of the reformer part of the Islamic Republic. So right now, he would be in favor of Ghalibaf people. So a lot of people, he pretends that he is fair and unbiased because he also criticizes the Islamic Republic. But if you notice, every time he does that, he's talking about the anti-negotiation MOU parts of the Islamic Republic, but in defense of people like Rouhani, Zarif, Araghchi, Pezeshkian, and Ghalibaf. So he does represent a certain segment of the Islamic Republic, but a lot of people can't tell because they don't know. Or like, oh, he criticized, like, I don't know, this guy and that guy in the Islamic Republic, so he's being fair and unbiased. That's what they think. And then at the same time that he attacks them, he equally attacks the United States. And a lot of people think like, oh, this is an objective person because he's attacking the Islamic Republic and the United States. But within the Islamic Republic, he only goes after certain certain groups within the Islamic Republic, not all of them. But when it comes to United States, also he goes against anything within the United States, all the policies within the United States that makes the United States strong. In the United States, he defends the leftists, the progressives, and stuff like that. So he's guys, this is a huge infiltration. This is an Islamic Republic spy within the United States, and you need to do something about it. This guy is like doing treason as a natural,
like a cancer.
Like a cancer, tumorous cancer, exactly. Yeah, so let's continue with this.
In Iran at the moment is looking at this back and forth. Of course, you know, we hear from President Trump regularly, and he's saying, on the one hand, we have more reasonable people in power in Iran, the other hand, then calling them scum. I mean, what do we actually know about how they view the memorandum and negotiations?
I think something has happened on the Iranian side in the last couple of weeks in which the Iranians became increasingly convinced that Trump was intending to restart the war, that the MOU was just a pause in which the U.S. would prepare itself for another round of attacks. They looked at several developments that contributed to them drawing this conclusion. from the Israeli-Lebanese agreement that the U.S. mediated that contradicted the MOU and gave the Israelis a position inside of Lebanon that would make it easier for Israel to go to war with Iran without having to deal with the type of attacks that Hezbollah did undertake against Israel during the first war. To Trump's own rhetoric, in which, as you mentioned, he called them scum. He said that this ceasefire is over, it is not worth negotiating. To statements by others in the administration saying that the MOU was going to be used to restock oil inventories and then see where things are and potentially go back to war. All of this has contributed in drawing that conclusion, rightly or wrongly, but as a result, also then coming to the belief that they're better off closing off the Strait of Hormuz right away rather than waiting for the United States to attack.
To that point, rightly or wrongly, it does seem fairly clear that President Trump is not interested in a return to full-out war. We understand that the Iranians are in the same position. So how do you bridge that gap?
Yeah, so right now, neither side are going dramatically beyond what they did during the war itself. We're not yet seeing the U.S. actually taking on Iranian oil infrastructure in the manner that Trump threatened to do earlier, but never did. And as a result, the Iranians are not striking at oil infrastructure in the GCC states. So whether this, in best case scenario, the two sides find a pathway back to negotiations. And the only positive difference is that any lure of thinking that military action can change the situation, the facts on the ground to their favor, may no longer have that attraction as it apparently currently does. But other than that, I frankly do not see this really fundamentally changing the underlying factors on the ground that would bring about a different result in the negotiations themselves.
Trita Parsi.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong in the sense that at the end of the day, I mean, he's against it. I'm for it. So he's upset that this is going to happen. And I'm happy that it's going to happen. But he's not wrong in the sense that the MOU was just a pause and we are going to go back to military operations. But he thinks that this was not planned and they were trying to. I think the Americans at some one way or another are going to go to full-scale military operations at some point, and the MOU was a pause. But he's saying it as of a bad thing. I'm saying it as a good thing. What do you think about everything he said, Monkey? You're angry again.
You know what pisses me off about all this? I'm gonna tell you exactly what pisses me off about this. All these people are funded. I want to know where their funding comes from. I think the chat was talking about the Quincy Institute. We know about NIAC. We know about NAIR, right? Am I right on those? Like, there's a lot of funding that's going into this, and I wonder how much blood money these people are taking, because there's a lot of people getting too familiar with the people that are funded from those institutions. There's too much blood money in the money pool, and I don't want these people anywhere near the White House. I don't want them anywhere near the vice president, the president, the secretary of state. I want to know how these people got there, because remember when we looked at Thomas Massey? When he was all funded by the Farouk family, he wasn't America first, he was Farouk's first, right? Same thing happened with them with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I want the FBI investigating and the CIA investigating all this motherfucking money. Why are these people out here so close? How is money getting so close? I know these types of people go after Vance. Why is the Vance funding so dirty? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Why hasn't this happened sooner? I don't know. I don't understand what the Americans are doing here. You have these guys, and it's pretty clear that they're operating on behalf of the Islamic Republic. Monkey, can you explain to us, why hasn't this been shut down sooner?
I think look, I love Trump, right? I think he's the greatest president I've ever had, right? And I've been around for a very long time. I may sound young, but I'm definitely not, right? So I've been around for a while. I think Trump is the best we've had of this generation and the previous generation, right? But he sometimes hires bad people. I think Pam Bondi was a terrible hire. I think most of his first cabinet was trash, right? So he allows himself to be surrounded by bad people. Like one of his best pick, like because he also hires good people, is Tom Homan. That's a great guy, right? So you have Marcus Rubio's Floridicus Cubanicus, first of his name. Excellent pick, right? But when you look at the wide breadth of it, there's a lot of bad people. So it took us years to get rid of fucking Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi was terrible. I know some people like her. I don't fucking care. I think she was shit. I think all she did was send worded letter after strongly worded letter. So I have no time for her. Whatever people like her for, fine. Have her. She was a gun grabber. She was alerting leftists about investigations. Like this is something that came out that she was, basically warning people she didn't have to be warning, and nothing but strongly worded letter after strongly worded letter. No arrests. Like I need a DOJ that is 1/4 the as strong as the leftist claim Trump is. Like the 1/4. If Trump was what they say he is, oh my God, that would be a dream come true. Like he would just go on them. People like to make the slippery slope argument. Oh my God, if we do it, they'll do it. We're at the bottom of the slope, ladies and gentlemen. They arrested a man for 34 counts of bookkeeping on a book he wasn't keeping. This is just abuse of the legal system. So we have to use the justice system for justice because they're going to use it for injustice. So it's time to use it, and it's time to go after these institutes. We're at war. The ceasefire is over. We're at war. We got to have a wartime investigation system, apparatus. We got to have a wartime Department of Justice looking for and finding not just these traitors when it comes to physical harm. We have to get these traitors when it comes to material support in the form of propaganda. A lot of people here talking about the Quincy Institute. I want to look a little deeper into the Quincy Institute. I know that they were also involved with Thomas Massey. It wasn't just the Farouks. And I want to look deeper into this, but there is so much fraud going on here, and there is so much mech. Let's not forget mech. There's a lot of terroristic propagandist people here and agencies and money that we have to trace this money. We have to arrest these people, and we have to do it very publicly. Like even if it shames Vance, well, fucking shame on you. Come out and tell everybody, you know what? Some of these people around me have been giving me a certain amount of advice, and I've been listening to them, but I've also been having some investigations. I've let them sit next to me, investigate, and we're going to arrest them. I'd love to hear Vance say that.
We got some. We got some couple of more breaking news, but let me just respond to super chats, and then we'll go to that because one of them was from the super chat. So Fleshy Interloper saying, "Don't need me for super chats now." Oh no, Fleshy, we always appreciate you, love you. Okay.
And I watch his reports in the school where he does the reports on the Hormuz Strait. Like I just saw the latest one, and that's always appreciated too. So Fleshy Interlope is a person that has it brings a lot to the table.
Okay. Eli Sheva with the super chat saying, "What's up with Ahmadinejad? Jewish breaking news." Yes, so thank you for pointing that out. I actually look at this. People are reporting this. Ahmadinejad seems to be on a house arrest. So former president of the Islamic Republic, Ahmadinejad, has been placed under house arrest by the IRGC after a stunning intelligence leak revealed a multi-year Mossad plot to install him as Iran's leader. The secret operation. So we already knew about this, but apparently now the IRGC also has convinced that this is true. The secret operation, which involved face-to-face meetings with Mossad chiefs in Europe, collapsed following a failed Israeli extraction attempt during active military conflict earlier this year. So yeah, people are saying, so breaking, former Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad has been placed under house arrest. So I saw so many people reporting this. Here's another one. Israel spent years cultivating former Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad as a potential intelligence asset and possible leader in post-regime Iran. As part of the effort, Israeli intelligence met with him abroad, including in Hungary, using academic events as cover for secret meetings. The plan culminated during the 2026 Israeli-Iran war, when Mossad operatives extracted Ahmadinejad from Tehran following an Israeli airstrike on his compound and took him to a safe house inside Iran as part of a broader regime change operation. The operation ultimately failed after Ahmadinejad left the safe house under unclear circumstances. According to Iranian officials, he is now under house arrest after authorities uncovered his alleged contacts with Israel. Holy crap. Well, that's a new escalation.
Well, how likely is it? Like, we know the IRGC is going to say, like, they stubbed their toe and they're going to say it was Israel, right? Is this Ghalibaf eliminating competition, or was this a long-term plot? What's going on here? Like, this is some deep in the Durka knowledge. You'd have to know all about the suits and the boots and their interlocking relationships. Like, I had heard that he was supposed to become the Ghalibaf, but something happened during a strike that made him want to chicken out. Like I vaguely remember something about that, but I'm not absolute. This would have been back in February, but I'm not, I'm not well informed on these things. So I will take it back to you. Like, what's your analysis on this?
I mean, Times of Israel is reporting on this. I would say, like, I think it's true. I think it did happen. I don't think that the plan, I mean, it doesn't make sense if the plan was to make him the ultimate leader. I mean, that's not going to work. But I do think that he would have been a good surrender period leader, because among the pro-regime people, he has the highest amount of support among the poor pro-regime people. So I think he would have been a good choice for not the transition phase, but the surrender phase before the transition. He would be a good person to basically sign the, come accept the terms of surrender. I think he was a good candidate for that, given how he, other than all of the people in charge, he's the only person that has some appeal within the Durka jihadi-minded poorer, like lower class Iranians, but that is against the current regime. The only leader that is against the current regime, but also has some backing among the pro-regime people.
So he would have been a better Ghalibaf than Ghalibaf?
So here's the difference. Okay, here I'll tell you the pros and cons on each. Okay. Ghalibaf has more influence in the high-ranking people within IRGC, within the people that know how to do things within the administration. He has a lot more influence among them. But he has zero support, like close to zero. So I don't think even his mom supports him, right? Among the pro-regime people, right? Ahmadinejad is the opposite. He has a lot more support among the base support of the Islamic Republic, but he's less. I mean, he has still some times within the administration, but not as much as Ghalibaf. So that's the difference.
Okay. So the streets would love him, but the boots would not respect him.
Well, it's not even the streets. This is another player. This is like the people within the villages and the small towns, because the boots in the main cities, they're a lot more. They would not like him, okay? Because there's the people who are Islamically minded and they want an Islamic regime. They would be against Ahmadinejad because he turned against Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader. So they would never forgive him for that. But the people in the smaller towns and the villages and the poor people, they will always remember that Ahmadinejad came and just gave them a lot of free food and free places to, like, he's the person who came out and gave them a lot of subsidies for living, for eating and stuff like that. And that's why they would never forget him for that.
So this is like the fields and the poor.
Yes.
The fields and the poor.
Yes. The poor. Yes, exactly. Does that make sense, guys? Let us know in the chat. Okay, so we have some breaking news, by the way. Saudi Arabia is striking Sana'a airport. So look at this. Close-up footage shows Saudi airstrikes hitting Sana'a airport as an Iranian Mahan air flight carrying a Houthi delegation was prevented from landing and diverted to Hodeidah, where it landed safely. Look at this. So Saudis are not letting. So Mahan is an airline by the Islamic Republic, and the Houthi delegation was landing in Sana'a, and the Saudis started bombing. Look at this. This is in Yemen.
في هذه اللحظات مشاهدينا الكرام كما تشاهدون غارات جوية عدوانية على مطار صنعاء الدولي إلى حد الآن بغارتين استهدفت مدرج الهبوط والإقلاع هنا.
This is Yemen.
الآن غارات عدوانية متواصلة. شوف
They're trying to prevent the landing of the Islamic Republic plane. Oh my God!
That's a great shot. That is such a good shot.
That was a beautiful shot. Look at this. Okay, watch this again. It's interesting that the Saudis are finally getting into it. And it's interesting that even though the Saudis are now becoming militarily active, the Islamic Republic is basically attacking every Arab country around the Persian Gulf except Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is the only country that is being spared, even though Saudi Arabia is right now attacking the proxies of the Islamic Republic. The main, right now the Houthis are very important because the Islamic Republic's one of their main threats is that they're gonna not just close the Strait of Hormuz, but they could also close Bab el-Mandeb. But as you can see here, the Saudis are getting involved in. So, guys, when it comes to the leverage of the Islamic Republic, we have the only three leverages that they have is the enriched uranium, the proxies, and the Strait of Hormuz, right? So when it comes to the proxies, the most important ones remaining right now are the Houthis, the Hezbollah, and the Hashd al-Shabi, and all the other proxy groups in Iraq, right? So basically Yemen, Lebanon, and Iraq. So with the Iraq, they're losing bigly. We saw the Ali Zaidi is coming to the United States, and they're completely interested in cooperating 100% with the Americans. So they're losing their influence in Iraq. With Hezbollah, we saw with the peace deal between Lebanon and Israel and United States, Hezbollah is getting closer to being disarmed over there. And now with the Houthis over here, you can see Saudi Arabia is getting involved in bombing them as well. So we're making a lot of progress on the proxy part. We're not making a lot of progress in defanging the Islamic Republic.
Now I have some questions here. Do the Saudis and the Houthis have old beef? Like, have these guys been at it for a while?
Oh my God, yes. Holy yes. Yes.
So this is just like, if I'm gonna hit somebody, I'm gonna hit that guy that I really, really don't like, right? Would that be a correct estimate of, like, if I'm gonna get into this, I'm gonna go hit the guy I hate? Not only that, is Saudi Arabia having an economic shift? Because I have heard of this, not too specific, but like just going full oil is a problem with the markets. Like right now, they would be making a little more money if the strait was open, right? But like if there is a long-term diversion away from Persian Gulf oil, and there is a shift to offshoring and friendshoring to our allies to get that oil, so it doesn't go through this kind of, insurance problems and risk problems. Like, would this motivate Saudi Arabia? Okay, we have to get this open. We have to establish that our oil is great and it's stable. And if we're gonna smack somebody, let's smack these people I hate already. Is that a good estimate of like what's motivations here?
So the motivation is simply to make sure the Islamic Republic cannot have influence over there. So the Saudi Arabia has always been at war with the Houthis, and because Saudi Arabia is at war with the Islamic Republic, and the Houthis are an extension of the Islamic Republic, and the Islamic Republic's influence around Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is gets hurt a lot economically and also stability wise. So the Houthis damage the Saudis in many different ways, but the most important ones are their source of instability, which basically means that Saudi Arabia would not be considered as a safe place for trade, investment, and tourism, and and getting commerce and all of that coming around that area. But the more important way is also that the Houthis are basically a bunch of pirates and terrorists that threaten international maritime trade around that area, which Saudi Arabia needs a lot. Saudi Arabia requires to be able to make sure that the ships could go through the Bab al-Mandab, especially given that Bab al-Mandab is a strait that the Houthis constantly threaten to close. So the Houthis are basically the enemy number. The Islamic Republic is the enemy number one of Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia with the Houthis, the Islamic Republic gets to be right at the border of Saudi Arabia and threaten Saudi Arabia. So this has always been a threat, and now the Houthis. So the Houthis in Yemen and Saudi Arabia go in and out of war, many times. This is not new, but the reason why the Saudis might be right now more interested in attacking them is because the Islamic Republic is interested to use the Houthis again to close the Bab al-Mandab, and Saudi Arabia cannot tolerate that right now at all. One way that Saudi Arabia has bypassed the closure of the Strait of Hormuz is by using its east-west pipeline to get oil from the Persian Gulf to the Red Sea, and for that to be effective, Bab al-Mandab needs to be open, because the Red Sea, the oil that gets to the Red Sea goes south to the Bab al-Mandab and makes the rest of the world. So if the Houthis close that, that would be devastating to Saudi Arabia.
I think that this would also go against their vision 2030. Like they want to do races over there. They want to have soccer over there. They want to be this tourism hotspot, and they wanted to transition the kingdom away from oil and into this luxury. They want to be the Las Vegas of the Middle East. They want to be the Miami of the Middle East, a place to safely frolic if you have a lot of money. And falling bombs when you're like 4 years away from this great plan, Vision 2030, it really puts a damper on that plan. It puts all of this in very recent memory. So okay, not camel races, but maybe camel races are fun. Maybe I should watch one. But I'm just talking to the chat here. But I think that also puts a damper on it. That it's bad for their future, and it's very bad for their present, and it has been bad for their past. So just touching on all the things that are going on here, I think you're absolutely right. This Houthi rivalry with the straits closing, their straits, the other strait, the Bab al-Mandab, this is all appropriate. I think it's good to have them on our side finally.
Yeah, I mean, Saudi is supposed to is a U.S. ally, but they haven't. When it comes to military operations, they're pretty pathetic. Let me go to the super chats. A Father of Chaos saying, "Remember, eat and hydrate today." Thank you, Father of Chaos. You always take care. Worry about my health. I really appreciate that, and I am keeping hydrated. Thank you. I saw yesterday when I didn't have enough time to eat. You were concerned, and that's very sweet. Thank you so much for that. And then Fleshy Interloper with a super chat saying Saudis are going to take out Houthis port first. Yes, I mean the Houthis are attacking the Houthis have been made easier relative to before because of their recent military U.S. and Israeli military operations against them. But the Saudis have been very weak before when it comes to. They have been pathetic when it comes to attacking the Houthis. They didn't do much. They had like years of military operations against the Houthis, and it didn't go anywhere. Now they might have a chance because the Americans and Israelis did a lot of jobs for them, and they're still over there, so they might get support. And because also United States is very motivated right now to make sure that the Houthis can't close the Bab al-Mandab. So now they might be able to do something. And there you go. Push-ups. with another super chat and basically confirming what I'm saying, saying how weak is Saudi military, 10 years in Yemen and no win. Yeah, exactly. 10 years of war with the Houthis and they couldn't win anything. The Saudis, they're just good at buying expensive toys, expensive military equipment from Americans. They buy the best stuff. They spend billions and billions of dollars buying American military equipment. They just don't know how to use them. They just suck at using them, even though they have the best. And Monkey, you start this comment. You want to respond to this?
Yes, Veteran Hoffman saying, as a U.S. veteran, let me say this, restraint of our military is actually a good thing. You have no idea what our military would do without constraints, would go scorched earth on our enemies. And this is very true. Like, if we did not care about probably look to the world stage, if we didn't care what we look like to the home front, right? If we went full, scorched earth, it would be devastating, and we don't want to do that. Like, you want us to have you want us to have a soft touch when it's necessary and a hard punch when we have to. So it's good that we scaled up proportionally, appropriately. It may not seem proportional. We may be hitting them a little bit harder than they hit us, but it's good that we're more like a scalpel and less like a hammer. Because we might just cut in there soon.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. We talked about the Houthis. Let's talk about the proxies of the Islamic Republic in Iraq. Okay, because a huge thing, like, this is an important thing that is happening as we're speaking, and many Americans are not paying attention to this. So Iraqi Prime Minister Ali al-Zaidi departs Baghdad for United States on an official visit leading a government and economic delegation. So guys, this is big. Basically, the leadership of Iraq is coming completely into the Americans' sphere. Like, they're leaning. So for the past, ever since the fall of Saddam, Iraq has been a battleground between the Islamic Republic and United States, with both of them trying to gain more influence in Iraqi politics. And to be fair, for a very long time, the Islamic Republic had the upper hand in Iraq. This is now the final stages of United States getting closer to a complete win in Iraq. And as President Trump, not enough people praise President Trump for this, because just in the recent, after the elections, they had a long time without a prime minister, and we almost had a situation where the Islamic Republic was being successful by putting Nouri al-Maliki, making him as the prime minister of Iraq. And if that happened, Iraq would completely fall in the sphere of influence of the Islamic Republic. But President Trump, most Americans were not noticing that he pushed and made sure that does not happen. And this guy, Ali al-Zaidi, is now the prime minister in Iraq. And now that means that Iraq is completely falling into the sphere of influence of United States. And this is him getting ready to come to United States. Watch this. Guys, this is so big. I don't know if you guys are. Let me actually show you another video. This is them. This is now him arriving. He just landed in Washington, D.C. So Iraqi Prime Minister Ali al-Zaidi has arrived in Washington, D.C. His convoy was seen heading to Willard Hotel, where he is set to stay ahead of his meeting with President Trump on Thursday. So on Tuesday. So watch this. Hold on. This is him arriving. Okay, we don't need to hear the music. So this is him just arriving. Okay, in Washington, D.C. Guys, this is such a big win for United States. This is checkmate of the Islamic Republic in Iraq. This is a multi-decade project of United States in Iraq and now they have it. United States has Iraq. If this works out, I mean, I fear for the safety of this man. I hope they don't assassinate him in Iraq. But if this works out, I don't know if Americans understand what you just won here. This is a huge win for United
Well, he's
States.
safer in Washington than he is in Iraq, right? Like, did you see that convoy?
Yes.
They had all of the police there. They had a lot. And I'm guessing this is his entourage. This is cabinet basically going with him.
Yes.
That's his Air Force One showing up. And you know what? Sometimes we have a great president on the tarmac. I think there's been a lot of things happening lately where we are having military strikes, so that's not going to happen. But I am absolutely sure that this person knows they have the president's support, and having actual tactical information and assistance is way more important than some of the pageantry that we would have on our side. So I believe that what's most important here is how much of the Iraqi people stolen gold, stolen money, stolen golden G-strings have been recovered. The IRGC was using their proxies to steal from the Iraqi people and the Iranian people, because they use the Iranian people's money to have these fraudulent fraudsters enter into the government, and once they're in the government, they start stealing from the Iraqi people. So the Iraqi people greatly benefit from the IRGC going down, because the IRGC puts these proxy ministers in, and these proxy terrorist groups, proxy ministers, proxy politicians in, and they of course start draining the local population as they do to the people of Iran. So this is just a great win, and it goes to show this all started happening during the MOU. Like, we have not been sitting on our hands over here. Like, we have been coordinated with partners in the area, like Lebanon, and Israel, like Iraq, and the Saudis. I'm sure we're giving them intelligence for those strikes. Like, we have been coordinating with all these people so that we can have a more united front against the IRGC. And I think that should be noted, because people talk about the MOU like we just sat on our hands, and that's literally not what happened. And I have heard that all throughout this week, there's been more arrests. There's been, like, this hasn't stopped. Like, it's been ongoing and ongoing and ongoing. And I think there's over 100 politicians arrested, people raided, more and more stolen, resources of the Iraqis being revealed to be had by these IRGC thugs. I commend this. I love it. I love it. I'm a happy monkey.
Yeah. Yeah. So Texas saying Senator Graham would be so happy to see this. And Shana is saying Trump is making Mesopotamia great again. Yes. Yes, he is. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
And the reason why this is important, guys, is because guys, when it comes to the deterrence ability of the Islamic Republic, one of the three is the proxies. So proxies, there's three more. The most important three remaining proxies of the Islamic Republic: Hezbollah, so is in Lebanon, is in Iraq, and it's in Yemen. And this takes care of the Iraq one. This is one out of three of the deterrents. So we have three deterrents: proxies, the enriched uranium, and the Strait of Hormuz. So from the proxies, we have three. Okay. We have Lebanon, we have Iraq, we have Yemen. This takes care of the Iraq one, if it's successful, which I hope it is. And then, Monkey, you start this comment. You wanted to respond to this?
Yes. I thought this was funny because I didn't notice that. Did you notice that? Like, Michael McLaughlin is saying, the IRGC printed a kill list in the newspaper yesterday, all the leaders, and why was JD Vance not on that list? I mean, we don't want him on any kill list. Just to put it out there, we don't want anything bad to befall Vance. What we want him to do is wake up to like some of the people around him and their influence. But I did not know. I didn't notice that. I don't remember that. And I think if this is true, I feel dumb for not noticing. Like I want to thank them.
I didn't know.
Oh my
I
God.
didn't notice either. Thank you for bringing us to our attention.
Great comment
Yeah.
from Twitter. Everybody out there on the Twitter sphere, thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you. Wait, let me read these super chat. I'm gonna show, now that you mentioned assassination and stuff like that, I'll show you a new Lego movie regarding how the Islamic Republic thinks that Lindsey Graham was taken, right? So an Iranian government linked group released a Lego-style AI video implying responsibility for Senator Lindsey Graham's death and threatening others, including Laura Loomer. Oh my God. The video includes KT, possibly meaning, KILL Trump, and references to Monica Witt, a former U.S. counterintelligence agent who defected to Iran. So I'll play this for you guys, but before that, let me read the super chat. Bill Tube is saying, thank you, Armin, Monkey, and Ellie. Also, was Fleshy Interloper, what is this? Bony Native in Another Life? Oh, what is this?
I don't know what Bonnie Native, like I don't know where Bonnie is, because there's probably a few places called Bonnie, but we do thank the Fleshy Interloper for his reports and his contributions.
I don't know what this is, but I'm sure it's a cultural reference that I'm not getting. But those who know. Okay, if people are supposed to get it, got it. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, and I appreciate you appreciating us. So thank you for that. And then speaking of Fleshy Interloper gave us another super chat saying calamari is served. Yes. So this is Fleshy Interloper's coining this. This is the calamari strategy because they're basically cutting the tentacles of the octopus of the Islamic Republic. So Fleshy Interloper is calling this a calamari strategy, which I think is very fitting. Yeah. So basically taking out the proxies. All right. So let's look at how the another Lego video by the Islamic Republic. This time they're trying to take credit for Senator Lindsey Graham's death with this Lego video. So let's see what's happening here. Laura. Okay, this was cringier than the other ones. This was so cringe. And this is they're so desperate. Like, is anybody that is going to die in the United States, if you're going to take credit for all of that? This basically shows that they can't do anything. That, like, this is a demonstration that they can't actually do anything, that they're taking credit for this.
Look, if anything, it's a credit to the popularity of Lego. I think they burn effigies all the time. The Lego effigy gets a lot of traction. They make AI videos all the time. They made AI videos throughout the whole war. The only thing that gets them like big traction is Lego. So, if there's any credit going around here, it's to the popularity of Legos as an entertainment tool for many things. I don't give any credit to this.
I don't
propaganda.
think Lego wants this attention.
No, but I mean, it is what it is. Same thing. Toyota was the truck of ISIS, and you know what? You don't want to be a terrorist truck, but if you're stuck in the desert, that does mean something. The people there say that's a good truck.
Yeah. Right, Liam. So people are saying, what does KT mean? KT, again, they're probably saying KILL Trump. That's what they're saying. I'm not saying it because YouTube might think that
misinterpret. They might misinterpret it.
Yeah. So guys, we go to now that we showed that disgusting video about Lindsey Graham, let's watch a more base video. So Tim Scott video. I think this is a base video. I haven't seen it. Let's see what Tim Scott says about Lindsey Graham.
People in South Carolina understood who he was. They kept re-electing him because they knew that he was a statesman, not a politician, but someone dedicated to making sure that every single day South Carolina families were better because he was in public service. They knew every single day that whether you agreed with them or disagreed with them, he was sincere in his objective of making our nation better. And that's one of the reasons why in a crowded Republican field, he came out on the first vote without a runoff because people admired, respected, even when they disagreed with Lindsey Graham. You couldn't dislike him. People in South.
No, that's what Texas was saying yesterday in our group call. Same thing. And then guys, go on.
Look, on that comment yesterday, I this is what I had on my thumbnail. On my thumbnail, let me see if I can find it here. I made sure that everybody knew that he was a statesman. Like that word he used it for a very specific reason. Like what I put was veteran, statesman, great man, right? I wanted to honor his memory. And one of the things that he was most famous for was being able to reach across the aisle so that we are able to the sane people. Like there's some people that you're never going to get them, right? But there is some sanity left. There's people like John Fetterman. Like Fetterman, as much as I disagree with him on some economic things, he's a little bit more sane, right? So he would be the only one that could reach across the aisle and, like a statement, do what's best and convince people to do what's best for his state, for his country, and for the world, right? So I wanted to focus on that side of him, allow people to mourn a great man, and he was a statesman. That word that he used it very specifically for a reason. This is a great description. He was a statesman.
Right. Okay. We do have information regarding how he died now. So a lot of people were coming up with some theories. Wait, let's see what actually happened.
Tommy, good evening to you. The news coming from the Senator Graham's office about the preliminary findings of this autopsy, which shows that it was an artery tear, a catastrophic one caused by likely years of cardiovascular disease. We are still awaiting the final cause of death. Those results are pending because of toxicology reports that still need to come back in. But it is incredible turnaround of information from the senator's office, and it certainly shows the amount of interest worldwide that Graham's death is spotlighting. The senator had a huge influence on both domestic and foreign policies, remembered as someone who was championing for what he believed in, as well as forging relationships across the aisle. Tommy, good evening to you. The news coming.
Okay, so that's been confirmed.
Yes, as I understand it, he also had surgeries. He also had heart problems for a very long time. So this was kind of expected, and that kind of trip is very, very rough. Some people get something called DVT, deep vein thrombosis, and that's what he's talking about. I think it's something like that. Like an artery is like a vein is having some trouble. That could be the reason. I'm no way near medical knowledge, but just from experience, my grandmother has had some heart problems with veins and all this, so I understand.
Okay, so look at this. Ted Cruz posted a lot of videos by. Okay, is this one or multiple? I think we already played this. Is this a? Well, no, this is a different one. I don't know which one it is, but Ted Cruz posted a video with a caption. This was Lindsey at his best.
The FBI investigation. You could have
Oh yeah.
come.
Oh yeah, we did play this yesterday, but it's so good. Everybody is sharing this moment by Lindsey Graham as one of his best moments.
If you wanted an FBI investigation, you could have come to us. What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. You've said that, not me. You've got nothing to apologize for. When you see Sotomayor and Kagan, tell them that Lindsey said hello, because I voted for them. I would never do to them what you've done to this guy. This is the most unethical, sham since I've been in politics. And if you really wanted to know the truth, you sure as hell wouldn't have done what you've done to this guy. Are you a gang rapist?
No.
I cannot imagine what you and your family have gone through. Boy, y'all want power. God, I hope you never get it. I hope the American people can see through this sham, that you knew about it and you held it. You had no intention of protecting Dr. Ford. None. She's as much of a victim as you are. God, I hate to say it because these have been my friends. But let me tell you, when it comes to this, you're looking for a fair process. You came to the wrong town at the wrong time, my friend. Do you consider this a job interview?
The advice and consent role is like a job.
You consider that you've been through a job interview.
I've been through a process of advice and consent under the Constitution. Which
Would you say you've been through hell?
I've been through hell and then some.
This is not a job interview.
Yeah.
This is hell. This is going to destroy the ability of good people to come forward because of this crap. Your high school yearbook. You have interacted with professional women all your life, not one accusation. You're supposed to be Bill Cosby when you're a junior and senior in high school. And all of a sudden you got over it. It's been my understanding that if you drug women and rape them for 2 years in high school, you probably don't stop. Here's my understanding. If you lived a good life, people would recognize it, like the American Bar Association has the gold standard. His integrity is absolutely unquestioned. He is the very circumspect in his personal conduct, harbors no biases or prejudices. He's entirely ethical, is a really decent person. He is warm, friendly, unassuming. He's the nicest person. The ABA. And one thing I can tell you, you should be proud of. Ashley, you should be proud of this, that you raised a daughter who had the good character to pray for Dr. Ford. To my Republican colleagues, if you vote no, you're legitimizing the most despicable thing I have seen in my time in politics. You want this seat? I hope you never get it. I hope you're on the Supreme Court. That's exactly where you should be. And I hope that the American people will see through this charade. And I wish you well. And I intend to vote for you. And I hope everybody who's fair-minded will.
The passion in his voice is amazing.
I mean, I'd love to give the context on this because it kind of leaves it open to interpretation.
I mean, you gave the context last time.
Yes, but there's a little bit about that letter. Like Senator Feinstein kept a letter that kind of basically took away and all that incrimination. This was at a time when division was at its worst, and we had the most propaganda. This is when it started to get really gross, the way they lied about people, and this was unprecedented within the halls of power. And this is the start, the beginning of the end, the start of the worst of the worst of the worst in our government. This was when we were still at the top of the slope, and we started sliding down.
All right, look at, so speaking of, look at this, Lindsey Graham here, another video, great video of him.
What are the Iranian people asking for? Not to have their daughters taken off a bus and beat to death because they don't wear a scarf. What are the Iranian people asking for? An economy that they can survive, to live in a country not ruled by a religious Nazi, to live in a country that's not terrorizing the entire neighborhood in the world. To my European friends, you've lost your way. You should embrace the protesters. They represent the best of humanity. You used to be this way. What are the Iranian people asking?
He was so clear on things. I love that. I love the way he defended Iran and Israel and United States. But look at how this is a state TV of the Islamic Republic. I don't want. Should I play the whole thing here? They talk about Senator Lindsey Graham here,
شما هم اطلاع دارید که یکی از پست‌ترین، پلیدترین و
saying one of the most vile, lowly, and despicable American enemies have died.
پلشترین دشمنان ما و
He's talking about Lindsey Graham.
امریکایی‌ها مرد و بیش از اون که به واسطه
Saying, I'm so happy for Lindsey Graham's descent into hell.
خوشنودی از به درک واصل شدن اون به شما تبریک بگم به واسطه این عرض میکنم
I would like to congratulate all the people who sought revenge.
که مبارک باد مردم که شما خونخواهی رو اراده کردید، خونخواهی رو
and prayed for his death.
از درگاه حضرت حق اجابت کردید و مرگ و
By God's decree, his death and demise came to pass.
هلاکت و پایان او به فرمان حضرت حق رقم خورد. این جای
This is a cause for celebration.
مبارک باد داره. امیدوارم که
I hope we will witness the untimely deaths, according to this guy, YouTube, I'm not saying this guy is saying, of Ted Cruz, Tom Carter,
شاهد مرگ زود هنگام تد کروز، تام کاتن و بسیاری دیگر
and many other vile, despicable, and filthy U.S. congressmen.
نمایندگان پلید، پلشت و کثیف کنگره آمریکا و اقمار
as well as Donald Trump, his close circle,
دونالد ترامپ و خود او و شبکه
and the Israeli Zionist network of Ben Gvir, Smotrich, Netanyahu, Katz, and others.
صهیونیستی اسرائیل از بن گویر، اسموتریچ، نتانیاهو، کاتس و دیگران هم باشیم. دور نیست. تنها کافی
This is not far-fetched. God needs only to will it.
که خدا بخواهد. دست او بالا.
His power is above all things.
همه دست هاست.
So, okay, this again, you couldn't do anything, so you're just basically saying we prayed and God answered our prayers. So then just stop doing everything else. Just keep praying then, I guess.
No, I think I think this happened for a reason. Do you know what I think that reason is? They tried to take credit, and everybody at home is like, how dare you? Like, you didn't do like no one is buying that it was them at home. They tried to sell it like it was them. Like, oh, we have this victory. We, but we know nothing. You had nothing to do with this. You're trying to sell it. You can try that propaganda outside. That's not going to work inside. I think that's why he has to admit, oh, it's God, not us.
Yeah. And look at this. This is the newspaper in Iran saying like, oh, they're all worried. Oh, and also it's saying, get ready for sudden death. So it's telling these other people that you should get ready. This is a newspaper. This is an official government, approved newspaper in Iran, saying that the rest of you should be ready for death. So this is like them on top of Lindsey Graham's burial ground. So desperate.
Do they usually write in English, or is that just for us?
That's for you. They wrote it in Persian, English, and Hebrew. And they do that so you guys, because this is for you guys. They wrote it in these languages so you guys could read it.
They keep going like this. They're gonna. I think it's gonna happen. Like, it's gonna happen in a ways that no one expected.
Yeah. Speaking of scum, despicable people, look at this. So there's a new audio that just came out from January 8 and January 9. This was from January 8 and January 9, but it's just got leaked. And I saw so many people sharing this on Instagram, on people sending it to me. So this is a leaked police radio obtained by Iran International, reveals orders to fire on protesters in Isfahan on January 8 and 9. The 5-hour audio file shows Iranian people were authorized to use military. No, the Iranian police were authorized to use military-grade weapons during the crackdown. Listen to excerpts from the police radio communication in this video. So this is not the full 5 hours. This is only 3 minutes of it. The full audio is 5 hours. So let's look at the things that they were saying this is police radio during the massacre that was happening in Iran in January 8 and 9. So unit 1. So he's saying, hello, God give you strength. Your orders? What's your orders? Like, pay attention to the mobilization call for tonight. I'm at your, so he's responding, I'm at your service. We made the plan. Saying, contrary to all the propaganda that's been spread, it's not about livelihood. It's not about livelihood at all, the protest. It has been taken towards insecurity. Now, okay, so he's saying basically let me translate that part to you guys. Basically, he's saying we can shoot these people because these are not people complaining about their livelihood. These are people who want to cause insecurity. That's what he's saying. So basically, justifying being aggressive to them. Saying now in the afternoon, definitely the rapid response unit must be reinforced. Today the mobilization is intense. God forbid if it starts, our hands will be tied. So basically, this here they're basically telling you that they're saying that they're afraid regarding, like, we have to act quickly because the crowds could, if it starts quickly, we can't do anything about it. So they're worried about the size of the crowd. Saying tonight, God willing, the strike team must be fully prepared. So this is them. This is the police getting prepared against the protests that are about to happen, the uprising of the people. So we'll definitely have trouble tonight. Considering yesterday's position, considering last night's mobilization calls. So his mobilization calls, I think here he's referring to Prince Reza Pahlavi's call to action for the people to come to protest. He's saying this police guy is saying tonight we're going to have some problems because we had the mobilization call by Prince Reza. He's not mentioning Prince Reza Pahlavi, but he's saying he knows that tonight is going to be a tough night for them. Like, send assistance. Bring the guys in. Bring in the agents and information to help. Bring in the agents and informants to help. Keep the sector under control. No gathering must be allowed. Oh, it's like he's being very aggressive. Like, no gathering. He's saying absolutely no gathering must be allowed. So we already done everything that has to be done. God is saying, God bless you, show no mercy. Look at this. God bless you, show no mercy. He repeats, show no mercy. He says multiple times. So they're getting ready for the uprising of the Iranian people. And they're saying, they're on the radio, they're saying, show no mercy, show no mercy. Saying, Haydar send reinforcements, Haydar. So there are 2,000 or 3,000 of them. Yeah. So this is now later during the night. He's like, there are a couple of thousands of them. If we take one step back, it's like if we take one step back, they run right over us. So they feel like they would be overwhelmed if they retreat. So, and say we'll wipe them out. We'll wipe them out. He's talking about the guys. When he says we'll wipe them out, he's talking about unarmed civilian Iranian people. Like, what's that? An aircraft? A drone? So somebody else is calling in and is asking, they saw something, they're worried. They're like, what is that? Is that an aircraft or a drone? Is it friendly? He's basically asking, is that ours? So somebody on the other side is responding, saying it's friendly, it's friendly. Probably it's a drone, like a observer drone. Oh no, it's an aircraft. Okay. Like it's ours. It's ours. Don't worry.
Basically, don't shoot it.
Yeah. Yes. So somebody's asking for come here, come help us here. They've killed our men. They've killed our men. So look at this. The unarmed Iranian people managed to take some of them out. Like, Haydar, should I fire the Kalashnikov or not? Should I basically start shooting them with Kalashnikov or not? Like, they've crushed us. Chamran to Haydar. Like, should I fire the Kalashnikov or not? Should I? Chamran to Haydar. The other side is not hearing him.
Why does he keep asking? Isn't this like are they not used to this having this much power or something? Is this something that they really reserve for the last second?
Yeah, because if they use it all the time, it will cause more uprisings, right? So they usually use like tear gas and pellet guns until they see that it's getting overwhelming. Then they go to Kalashnikov and
to rifles. Okay.
Yeah. So they say, should I use the Kalashnikov? So he say, use it. Yes, use it. Like, oh, saying, what did you do? Did you do it? So, no, ijra kardi means like, did you do it? Did you shoot? Like, they're coming. They have arrived. If you have tear gas, send it over. If you have gas, send it over with Winchester. What's that?
Winchester's a rifle. That's like a sniper rifle. So they're basically, my guess, when they say Winchester, they're talking about snipers.
So he said, I've got tear gas. I've got Kalashnikov, Winchester. So he has tear gas, Kalashnikov, and Winchester. So I got everything. Don't worry. It's on its way. So transfer anyone arrested immediately to the Khayyam position. Khayyam's conditions are not particularly favorable. One request to everyone: don't say where. Don't say where the detainees were taken. Don't tell their families or don't tell their families or relatives. When their friends come asking, don't tell them where they were taken. They'll come to your state. They'll go to the Khayyam position. Then the Quds township, then the these other places. Don't reveal them. We don't know. We don't know who made the arrest or where they were taken. It's not up to us. That's all I say. So he's basically suggesting that when you take people and arrest them, don't announce to the family where you're taking them, because then there are going to be crowds of people in that location. And then it says,
they might get liberated. I saw videos of people getting liberated out of trucks. So that's what they're worried about.
So he's saying street by street, we're moving against. So he's saying street by street, we're moving against the houses that these people are hiding in. Basically, some of the protesters were going to people's houses because they will open the door for them to go into their houses when they're being attacked. He's saying we're going into the houses where they're hiding. Remember the one that was holding the door back while those people were getting in? This is one of those cases, right? So sometimes people who have homes or apartments, they slightly open the door so that protesters come in and hide, and then they push the they find out where these houses are, and they go into the houses to take them out, to bring them down on. Oh wow, what the hell? So they were moving against the houses. They were inside to bring them down on their heads, to bring the houses down on their heads. Okay, so there's that. So, guys, what the events of the massacre on January 8th and January 9th, this is going to be something that we're going to come back to for years. For years, we're going to come back to this, because those 2 days, the events that happened in those 10 hours, 5 hours on a Thursday and 5 hours on a Friday, there will be like so many more and more evidence and details will be coming out from it for years to come. And, so just know that this is going to be investigated and talked about and researched and analyzed for so many years. And yes, true, these people are vile scum. Yeah, guys, remember the Haidar guy, the Hodor, the Haidar Hodor? Yeah, exactly. The Hodor who was who's holding the Haidar back. Remember the guy, the Hodor guy who was holding the door? That's one of those people that was holding these people out.
When it comes to Winchester, it might just be the round. I don't think they're using American rifles, but they may be talking about the Winchester round.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you want to do some bad takes? I don't know. Maybe this is
go for it.
Let's go. Okay. Let's look at this. What they're saying. I have no idea what they're about. This is something about Make America Great Again. Is just Make America 19th Century Again. Okay, this seems like it's going to be a bad take.
It's flawed, obviously, but it has many great qualities, America. I mean, I've lived and worked in America for over 20 years, and I can see it at first hand. It's a remarkable place. What do you feel about where America's got to?
I mean, you're right that the United States is a remarkable place. I lived there 3/4 of my life, and I don't regret having spent that time there. The United States is a place that's pulled in two directions. On the one hand, right, I think the average American really wants to do good and really wants the United States to stand for good. And that's been its rhetoric, especially in the post-World War II era. But the reality is, of course, it doesn't live up to its own standards. You just look at it in the types of wars that it chooses to get involved in, right? These aren't wars that it was forced into. And when you look at that record, it's really hard to look at it and go, oh, that made a lot of sense. I'm so glad we killed 3 million Vietnamese and for no reason, 2 million Iraqis for no reason.
How would you respond to that so far?
I don't know what he's talking about.
He's saying America is not living up to its own ideals because they killed 3 million people in Vietnam, 2 million people in Iraq. Like, they have these values, but they don't live up to them.
Like I said, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know where he's getting his number. He's just saying these things. I don't know if any of this is true. I'd say he's probably lying.
So, okay. Yeah, those numbers he's probably pulling them out of his ass. So let me actually say, did the Americans kill 3 million people in Vietnam and 2 million people in Iraq? Let me see. Okay, you're right. Don't assume these. Weren't the Vietnamese mostly the highest number? Let me see. Let me see the numbers. Let me not assume anything. Okay. All right. So the claim of 3 million deaths in Vietnam War is the number is historically accurate. We're looking at the total loss of lives across all factions, though it represents death caused by all participants rather than exclusively by American military. So official Vietnamese estimates stating that 3.1 million people died, including 2 million civilians on both sides and 1.1 million North Vietnamese. Okay. So the American direct contribution, while the bombing campaign and ground operation directly caused hundreds of thousands of civilians and combatants. The 3 million figure encompasses all battlefield. Okay, so no, the American didn't do 3 million. That was everyone's total combined. So he lied about that. So what about Iraq? The claim of 2 million deaths in Iraq significantly exceeds the estimates established by scientific peer-reviewed journals, human rights organization, and tracking databases. Documented violent deaths in Iraq project has meticulously logged between 186,000 to 210,000 violent civilian deaths directly resulting from the coalition invasion, subsequent insurgencies. Okay, so he's full of crap. He's making up his numbers.
I knew it. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? He's just lying.
Right. Yeah, he's a liar. I mean, here's the thing. Here's an interesting thing. These anti-Americans, you could actually make a lot of fair criticism about America, right? Because America is not, God. It obviously has flaws. But you just every country has flaws, and it's a patriotic thing to do, to point out the flaws of your country so you can make it better. But these people are not patriotic. They're un-American. They're anti-American. And if you wanted to be more clever with your anti-Americanism, at least don't exaggerate these numbers so people can tell that you're full of crap, right? Maybe just because there is a lot to work with. Like, America obviously has made mistakes because it's a country. It's not God. Every country has made a lot of mistakes. If you want, at least try to maintain some credibility by not exaggerating these numbers, because there's a lot to work with when it comes to criticizing things.
Well, these people were never fair. We're on Piers Morgan. He's never fair. He knows where he is. Like, where you are. Like, this person is over here. Let's look at what's going on around him. He's got Roman shields and Roman, iconography around him. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this guy. He's trying to project like he's some sort of historian. This is my take. Like, if I'm going by the image he's trying to project like he knows something about history, but he's just lying, right? So I see this as a propaganda. This guy's a propagandist more than likely.
True. Okay, let's continue with his.
Reality is, of course, it doesn't live up to its own standards. You just look at it in the types of wars that it chooses to get involved in, right? These aren't wars that it was forced into. And when you look at that record, it's really hard to look at it and go, oh, that made a lot of sense. I'm so glad we killed 3 million Vietnamese and for no reason, 2 million Iraqis for no reason. And so the United States...
It's not.
He's full of shit. He's just lying. No one is challenging him on it. This guy is literally just lying. The wars that we choose to get ourselves into, the wars that we're involved in. Let's look at everybody else. Like, there's this standard that we don't live up to our standards. Well, at least we have standards. None of these other countries have standards. What's the Chinese standard when they got in Vietnam? And North Korea, like what are these standards that they're talking about? When the other countries get involved in wars, they have no standards. They have none. I don't know what he's talking about. He's lying. He's just lying.
Also, I mean, you could argue that you don't agree with the justification, because the Vietnam War was basically fighting communism. They were protecting South Vietnam from communist aggression, right? And so we are basically protecting Southeast Asia from Soviet and Chinese dominance, which is a good thing. You could say, I disagree with the justification. Don't say there was no, like, oh, the Americans were like bored, or like, oh my God, what do we do? There's nothing to do around here. How about we just go kill some Vietnamese? Like, is that your understanding of what happened? We were living in the era where communism was taking over, and I appreciate the Americans pushing back against communist takeover of the world, and also in Southeast Asia. Thank you so much, United States, for pushing back, because I could promise you this: no matter how many people died in Vietnam or anywhere else that United States has been militarily involved, I could guarantee you this: the number of people who would have died from not just violence but also starvation, if United States was not pushing against communist takeover, would have been significantly higher than any civilian who died in U.S. military operations.
I think communism is a pro-starvation movement. I think if you're a communist, you just want to starve people. I think you're either willfully ignorant, or morally corrupt. Like you're either morally corrupt and want power from communism, or you're willfully ignorant and refuse to look at the reality. That's the only two types of communist I've ever seen. And this guy seems to be the type that's morally corrupt. Like he knows that he's full of shit. He knows he's lying, and he is using the lies. This is propaganda.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I will say this both about Vietnam and Iraq, okay? Did the Americans make mistakes in Vietnam? For sure. For sure. Did the Americans make mistakes in Iraq with the toppling of Saddam and before it? For sure. For sure. Could have things be done a lot better? Of course. Of course. Was the net positive? Was American involvement, even with their mistakes, was the result a net positive? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. As even with all the mistakes of Americans in Vietnam and Iraq, Vietnam is better today because of United States of America. Iraq is better today because of the United States of America. With all of the mistakes that United States did in Vietnam, if United States didn't do, Vietnam is now growing, becoming more and more prosperous. It's one of the fastest growing economies in the world. If United States did not do what it did, it would have people would been dying. More people would have been dying from starvation and violence than, think about it. Vietnam is now a role model. It's like it's a example of a country to show how much capitalism benefits people. All of that happened because of the Vietnam War. I mean, the Vietnamese today have to be grateful to America. The Vietnamese today actually love America. And Vietnam as a country is a huge ally of United States and becoming more and more capitalistic every single day. All of that because United States pushed back against communism in Vietnam. Vietnam today would be a garbage country. It would be one of those shitholes, as President Trump says, if communism had managed to take over. More people were saved because of what United States did in Vietnam than killed. And the same thing is with Iraq. Yeah, even after the decade of chaos and all of the mistakes that United States made in Iraq, especially the de-Baathification of Iraq. So the military operations of United States against Saddam was beautiful. It was 10 out of 10. Great job bringing Saddam down. And the part that the military did its job perfectly. The part that the United States made a mistake, and it was a big mistake, it was what the politicians did after. The military did its job right. It was the de-Baathification of Iraq that caused all of the chaos, the 10-year chaos that came after it. But even with that mistake, which was a big mistake, but even with that 10-year chaos, Iraq is now still Iraq is better today than it was with under Saddam. And the whole Middle East is now easier to deal with because Saddam is not in power. Like all of what you're saying today right now would have been so much worse if Saddam was in power. And again, at the end of the day, if you want to save the Middle East and get rid of all of this hostility against America and Israel, Saddam had to be removed one way or another.
I'd like to point out that this is our greatest loss of life. Like before the IRGC, it was Vietnam. It's like it's not like it wasn't a cost to us, right? It was a great cost to us that we did our best to save Vietnam. There was some post-war policy that was terrible in Vietnam. There were some problems with Vietnam, but I think there are 2 or 3 moments in Vietnam that get twisted through history and exaggerated to represent all of Vietnam. Right? If we're looking at the greatest loss of life to Americans, it's Vietnam and the IRGC and their proxies. So I think these are the most justified war, especially this one right now, because these are the greatest source of instability and death around. I mean, they even get into Africa and cause crazy stuff. Like the death toll that you could put at the hands of the IRGC is astronomical.
Can I respond to a comment here? Somebody's saying, "I love you, Armin, but the U.S. did not win the Vietnam War." That's because you're focused you're thinking short term. Okay, that's why, because you don't have a larger perspective. You don't zoom out. You zoom in into only a few years, and you don't have a deep perspective because you don't look at things over the long term. You don't look at things over the long term. You have to zoom out and you see what the eventual results were. You're looking at the only few years after what the United States did what it did, and you're like, oh, United States lost. United States, both Vietnam and United States won because of what United States did. Vietnam is transferred into a booming capitalist economy and a major ally of United States, a major strategic partner of United States, and one of the most important partners of the United States right now as a capitalist democratic countries in East Asia, right next to China. In fact, Vietnam is becoming the main competitor to China, to the CCP, when it comes to being a manufacturing hub right now. All of that happened because the United States liberated Vietnam from communism. But they basically pushed back communism in the 60s, and now it allowed Vietnam and also all the countries there. It's not just Vietnam. Communism was taking over. The CCP and the Soviet Union were taking over. None of those countries would be a U.S. ally right now, and now many of them are because of the United States pushing them back. They won because they're now prosperous countries, and now the United States has so many allies in the region working with the United States against the CCP because of what happened over there. You're just too narrow-minded. You're focusing on a very short time horizon. You just zoom out and look at what happened eventually.
I think I wish I had Jeffrey here, because he can get very specific into where the problem was, and it was political. It was lack of support after operations. Because if you look at the military operations, we succeeded in most of our military, like overwhelmingly in our military operations. We had the military victories. What happened? People are focusing on like a 5-year period of the Vietnam War when we left. Right, when we were passing power to the Vietnamese people to now rule their own land. When we started leaving, they were kind of desperate. They were like, "Hey, no, don't go. We need to have a better transition. We need to have a smoother transition." And that was what was perceived as a loss. But we didn't lose militarily. The Viet Cong didn't win militarily in any sense. The only person that can explain this, that I know personally can explain this and has explained this before, is Jeffrey. Jeffrey is in our discussion group. You guys can come over and talk to us. The link is over here on the screen. And we have a few knowledgeable people on this type of subject, and he's very knowledgeable and has explained it before. I wish I could recall his words, but he went very specifically into detail why that was not a military loss, it was a political loss. Like, we did not lose militarily in Vietnam, and we definitely didn't cause all the death.
Yeah, anyways, I have so many more videos, so let's go through this one and then go to the next one.
Has this strange tug of war that it's involved in. And I think, at least for a while, there was this hope that it would get pulled in sort of a better direction. And the 60s and 70s, the 50s and 60s certainly believed that. I think in the 70s, people sort of tuned out and listened to disco and did a bunch of cocaine and forgot that there was a 50s and 60s. But there was a struggle that the United States went through where it tried to figure out what kind of a country it wanted to be going forward. And in the end, I think the election of Donald Trump showed that there was a portion of the population that thought, no, that was really the wrong direction. We didn't want racial equality, and we didn't want gender equality, and we needed to roll the clock back.
What are you talking about? People voted for President Trump because they didn't want gender equality and racial equality. This guy is full of crap. You're muted.
I know exactly what he's talking about. Look at what he's talking about. The 60s was the time when there could have been a change. This is what he's saying. He's talking about the Weather Underground. He's talking about back in the 60s when the hippies wanted to take over and turn the United States communist and socialist. These are Marxist. Yes, Chad is saying it. This guy's a Marxist. Like, that's the type of bullshitter he is. He's just a Marxist propagandist specifically, and that's why now he's going to gender equality. Like the government is going to do something to make a man lift his bench as much as a woman or something. No, what you want to do is smack some people down to raise some of you want power. All these people ever want is power. This guy's just a Marxist. That's I now I understand the nature of his bullshit.
Okay.
And the facet, right, make America great again is really just make America 19th century again. And so the fascinating thing is that there's a portion of the public that didn't like this better, more inclusive United States, this United States that wasn't necessarily imperialist for the sake of being imperialist, that, we were trying to do good for the world. And I think that's a disappointment for the world. Like historians looking back will probably judge the United States and go, what was with this reactionary backlash that put it back decades?
Well, you know what I would say. You know what I would say to that. It's interesting. I hear your argument, but what historians may look back and
that was not an argument. That was a claim. A claim needs to be backed up with some arguments. Just because you make a claim, that doesn't mean you actually made an argument.
Say, well, one of the reasons why somebody like Trump not just won one term, but then was 4 years out of office and then won bigger the second time. And actually, it may well come down to some of the progressive moves that were made by the left. And I'm thinking particularly, look, I'm a more liberal than not kind of guy. But I certainly think history will look back, for example, at the issue of trans athletes in women's sport as one of the catalysts for how trying to be doing the right thing, trying to signal your virtue, trying to, be inclusive, all these things can sometimes lead a party, as it did with the Democrats, into a mindset of complete insanity. I mean, I really do think history will look back and go, wait a minute, you let biological males compete in women's sport. How did that go? And obviously the answer is very badly.
You know what?
What the hell is that? What is going on here? Why does he have the good point? What is going on? Is this upside down world? What are we talking about here?
No, he gets it. He uses that. He gets it right on the trans stuff all the time, and he uses that as a way. Every time if he has a bad point on the woke stuff, he always uses that as his win card. Like
that's like his anchor. Okay. Okay.
I was surprised. You know what it's like? No, yeah, he uses that. He has the correct take on the trans stuff, but you know how on Israel he always he attacks Israel, but then he was like, hey, I condemn Hamas. Hamas is bad. And that's his win point to be able to then say whatever garbage he wants to say against Israel. When it comes to the culture wars, that's his win thing. He's like, hey, I think women shouldn't, men shouldn't be in men's, wait, what is it? Oh, men shouldn't be women's sport. And that is his win card to then go with all of his other garbage things.
That's his token issue to call himself a centrist. And he has a token issue on Israel to call himself a centrist.
You got exactly.
Oh, I know that you're a student of the evils of peers. I know that you are you're well studied in the different layers and levels of his bullshit. And I wasn't aware of this. Thank you for enlightening me.
Yeah, no worries. But here's the thing: I think to all that anti-American BS, I have the antidote. I have the cure to all of that, which is Marco Rubio. Let's
making me real happy.
Politics has made.
Yeah, watch this.
I think politics has made us crazy. Everybody in this country has lost their minds on politics, and we have forgotten that America is not a government. America's not a president. America's not a Congress. Let me tell you what America is. America's your family. America's your faith. America's your community. That's America. That's what our adversaries don't understand, and that's what we need to remember. That is how we're going to rebuild this country and turn the page and have a future even brighter than our past. And so that's why I feel so strongly about this. I think politics is...
Oh my God, I love this. I love the way he speaks. I love his knowledge. I love his determination. I love his patriotism. I love everything about him.
I like in particular one thing. America is your faith. If you don't have faith in your country, like that's something I admire actually about the Iranian people, that they have their faith that their country will rise above this mess, above this evil regime, because they have faith. And sometimes I wish more Americans had the kind of faith in the America as Iranians have in their country rising above the IRGC.
Yeah. To be fair to Americans, when you have this much prosperity and this much stability, you end up, it's just human nature to stop, to pay attention less. I'm pretty sure, I mean, any country that becomes as prosperous and as safe as the United States, the citizens will start focusing on other things. It's human nature, I think.
You don't know what you're missing if you have it.
Yeah, exactly. We got some super chats. Let's respond to them. Oh, this is for you, Fleshy Interloper. Do you wanna, Monkey? You wanna?
Yes, Fleshy Interloper said Winchester is slang for ammo. Yeah, it's like bingo fuel. Like Winchester's like I'm out. But I think let's just being particular on the IRGC. Now, I did some checking up on this because there's a lot of people in chat talking about it, and we're knowledgeable on our how we use terms. I think in the IRGC, they actually use it for shotguns, like when they're going to use pellet rounds. You remember those videos? So they might be referring to shotgun, and we might think of it as like I'm bingo fuel for a jet. We use Winchester for ammo. This is true. Like what he's saying is true. But and I thought it meant a sniper rifle because it's the kind of caliber round that we use for sniper rifles. But I just did some digging into it, and I think they might be using it in reference to shotguns. So on these types of things, because it's a language barrier, it might be a shorthand that they use when they're talking about shotguns, and they did use it to a horrible effect. But thank you for your insight into like how we all talk about these things. You said that. I thought rifles, you thought ammo, and I'm like, you know what? We're having our perspective. Let's just gain a new perspective, look into it, and I think it also might be that they're talking about shotgun shells.
Push-ups gave us a super chat. Thank you, Push-ups. You want to read this one? I don't know how to fund it.
The claim came from Soros-funded Lancet study. So I'm thinking this is the 3 million claim.
Oh, is it? I don't know. Okay,
it could be. I could check on.
Oh no, it's okay. So we need to go to other videos soon. So Shauna with the super chat saying, guys, we're finally winning the Iraq and Vietnam wars. It just took a little longer than expected. Also, Vietnam is a great friend shore.
Like we were talking about friendshoring and offshoring.
Oh, shoring. Yes. Exactly. Yes, it is. And it's also a huge competition to CCP. Like the world relies too much for manufacturing on CCP, so friendshoring to Vietnam reduces the reliance on China. And honestly, Vietnamese make better. The quality of their manufacturing is so much higher. And guys, less corruption, yes. And guys, Vietnamese love America. Like go look at the most recent polls. It's interesting because Vietnam and United States were at war with each other, and so many people still think Vietnam is a communist country because they have communist symbols everywhere, right? But Vietnamese, the most recent polls show that in Vietnam, Vietnamese love capitalism and they love America. The favorability of United States in Vietnam is so high, and you should that's something that's a huge capital to have. When United States should lean into that, given how much Vietnam loves America, right?
Same with Japan.
Same with Japan. Yeah. I was recently in Vietnam. It was just so good. Everything, the food, the culture, everything, the people. Yeah.
I'm so jealous. Right now. You've been to Vietnam. You've been to Japan. You've been everywhere. I'm so jealous right now.
I've been to at least 30 countries.
My God, I'm so jealous. I bet you've eaten the best food everywhere. I know Japanese have great food. It's the best sushi is probably in Japan. some of the best ramen noodles, and I do love ramen noodles.
Okay,
Oh
I'm
my God.
actually disagree with that. The best sushi is in Vancouver, not in Japan.
In Vancouver? Okay, okay.
Yes.
We've really been everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, you
Been-
know,
Yeah.
I hope when you were in Iran, you got to see some of the best places in Iran, because I think they have some wonderful historical sites that are heritage to the
Actually,
whole
that's one
world.
thing I regret the most. That's one thing I started becoming I didn't appreciate Iran as much as I should have when I was there. So, and now I can't go back.
You
So,
will.
yeah.
Whoa. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Actually, thank you for saying that. I actually, when I was in Jerusalem in Israel, I was going into the alleys pretending that I was in Iran because it was a little bit similar. Anyways, we got Amber. He was a member for 1 month. Thank you so much for 1 month of membership. I appreciate you being part of a group. Saying I appreciate you both, Armin and Monkey. Well,
Thank you.
both Monkey and I appreciate you. Right?
Look, Amber is in my chat usually and is a great help. Just keeping the conversation going. Always has
That's sweet.
good contribution, and there's great appreciation from you there.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, make sure you appreciate Monkey. He does great work. So he needs the appreciation. Okay, and then we have Hamid with a super chat. Thank you so much, Hamid. Always supporting us, always there for us, saying, why are they stuck in the past but not focused on the present? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good point. Yeah, because they're desperate to show the United States is evil. So they keep going and trying to dig in the past, looking for mistakes, not noticing that all countries have mistakes and other countries actually have bigger mistakes than the United States. So they just keep going and looking for skeletons in, United States closets just because they're anti-American. They're desperate to find things in history.
I
Saying
would
thoughts and
say
civiliz-
it's a revisionist version of the past. It's not really the past. They're focused on rewriting the past. Like Orwell had a quote: "Those who control the future, no, those who control the future control the past." Wait, those who could. I don't know what the quote was. I'm taking too long. Point is, they're revisionists. They want to change the past to control the future. That's the basic logic of it.
Okay, we got. Hold on, let me see. Ooh, we need to go soon. Ida with the super chat saying, "Where am I?" Oh wait, I didn't even finish the first super chat by Hamed saying, "Thoughts and civilizations have changed, but they are still stuck in 1955." Yeah, an alternative version of 1955. But even if they were talking about the true version of 1955, why don't they do this with other countries? Why don't these people, because no country would be able to survive this. Do you think like China would survive? Like every country would be evil because every country in its entire history has some dark moments. No country will be able to survive that standard. So we're basically calling United States evil based on a standard that no country will be able to pass. No country will be able to be seen as a force for good based on that standard. And thank you, Ahmed, for the super chat. And Ida with a super chat saying, "Where am I? What's going on? Oh, hey, boys. Hi, Ida.
Hello."
I love Ida's super chat. So funny. Okay. We need to talk about Mamdani. Wait, hold on. Let me actually change the... I forgot to keep changing the banner at the bottom today because I was not paying attention and I can't find the banner anymore. Where's the banner for this one? Anyways, never mind. How about where's the Mamdani? I don't find it. Anyway, let me actually first read the super chat and then we'll do the Mamdani one. Here, let me bring it up. Oh, Ida with another super chat saying, "Okay, Armin, so I decided you're gonna open a sushi restaurant in Iran next to Tuesday's pub." Oh my God. Well, I don't know if that's a good idea, Ida, because nobody's gonna come to my sushi restaurant. Everyone's gonna go to Tuesday's pub. If I'm opening a sushi restaurant in Iran, it should be far away from Tussi's pub. Nobody, right? Far, far away. Because yeah, I think so. But
I
yeah,
don't know.
that's a
I
good.
think it could work. Like, drunk people get hungry, and hungry people get drunk. Like they eat.
But
Like,
pubs
oh my
have
god, I need
food. Don't
a
they have
chaser.
food? Pubs have food, and people who go drink, they usually don't want to eat sushi after. They want to eat a burger or something like that after. So they're not going to come eat my sushi. Sushi
You
goes
know
well
what? I
with
can't
sake.
argue on your business. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. Okay, and thank you. Thank you. And then we got Roy. Thank you so much for gifting a membership to someone in the chat. I appreciate that. My God, why do I want sashimi now? I'm gonna order sashimi after. Okay, thank you guys. Stop talking about sushi. I'm getting hungry. Okay, let's just watch this Mamdani video.
Are learning more about a planned, now squelched meeting between a senior official for New York City's mayor, Zoran Mamdani, and Iran's ambassador to the United Nations. The State Department now says it stepped in to cancel that meeting. CB Cotton is live in New York City with more. CB.
Hey, John. So after the State Department reportedly stepped in to clarify acceptable conduct, we're told that it was Mayor Mamdani who ultimately called off the meeting between his Commissioner for International Affairs, Ana Maria Archila, and Iran's UN Ambassador, Amir Saeed Iravani. Archila was reportedly reprimanded for the move, but the fact that the meeting was even considered continues to raise eyebrows, including from U.S. Ambassador Mike Waltz, who reacted today on Sunday Morning Futures.
It would have been a huge propaganda victory for the Ayatollah in the middle of a conflict, as they're not only shooting at Americans, but they're shooting at global shipping. And we're doing everything we can to keep them internationally isolated. It's outrageous, and we shut it down.
So Mamdani, when addressing the controversy this week, said he didn't know about the meeting in advance. He also said it was the Iranian ambassador who requested the meeting, and
That makes it worse.
that his team is now working on new protocols.
The commissioner recognizes that this was made an error, and we're working on a new process in terms of new meeting requests. Again, this was a request that came into the office, not one that originated from the office.
Okay, so the timing of the attempted meeting comes when President Trump has repeatedly said he is #1 on Iran's, quote, kill list. And Israel recently shared intelligence with Trump about an Iranian plot to assassinate him, according to a Wall Street Journal report. John.
All right, CB Cotton, thank you.
I just wanted to highlight this one more time because I don't think people should forget this. This is like we should keep at it until like this. This needs to be highlighted more and more and more. I think
I want an investigation. I want discovery on all those phones. I want a discovery on that lady's phone. She's actually a Colombia. Colombia is very much aligned with Iran, and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know what contact she has with Colombia. I know we have a new government in Colombia that's favorable to Marco Rubio specifically, but America in general. So I want an investigation into if she is in contact with anyone in Colombia, and I want all of the discovery. I want all of the discovery on anyone that even flinches towards the IRGC, that has any of their hands in the level of power of any government office. I don't care if it's a mayor. I don't care if it's a town. I don't care what it is. If you have any elected official or their staff even flinching towards like they're signaling towards the IRGC, I want them investigated to the fullest the fullest extent of the law.
Okay, wait, this banner is not good. Let me put quotations on it because okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, so here, let's see what Anna has to say. We're gonna do some Israel stuff, some anti-Israel comments. We're gonna review that. Oh, first, before that, let's read the super chat by BT June. BT saying, "Oh, you want to read this one?"
Yes, BT saying, but it's no error that they like it's no error that they like his work and want to meet with him for like-minded support. Yeah, you have to look at the motivation. Why would they want to talk to him? That's very, very important in all this. and Mamdouki, okay, and his wife. I think I know what she means right there. I think she
Yes.
IRGC's favorite American couple. Yeah, yeah.
What for sure, 100%, 100%. Yeah, that's one, especially because he's Shia as well, for sure. Thank you, BT June. Okay, let's look at this. Anna Kasparian with more BS.
The reason why we find ourselves having to draw these clear distinctions over and over again is because there was an intentional conflation of the government of Israel with the Jewish people overall. And so criticizing, they do that on purpose. So if you criticize the Israeli government, they can automatically call you an anti-Semite, even though you have.
No, that's not true. I criticize government of Israel. Israelis criticize the government of Israel all the time. If they call you an anti-Semite, it's because of the double standard that you have. Because first of all, it's because you lie about Israel, and because you don't hold the same standards for Israel for any other country. And every time we look at your criticism and we isolate all the factors, we notice that the only remaining one is the Jewish one. Israel gets a lot of the attacks because of it being a Jewish country. So it's not because of criticism, it's because of the lies, it's because of the double standards, and it's because if you look at the double standards, the only factor that remains different between Israel than all the other countries that you don't criticize for the same reason is what only remains is that they're Jewish.
No hatred in your heart at all for Jewish people, at all. I had never once been called an anti-Semite in my life until recently because of how vocally critical I am of the Israeli government. And how could you not be?
How could you not? Guys, people call everybody everything on social media. What does that say anything about anything at all? What are you talking about?
Can you imagine if Russia were carrying out the exact same atrocities that the Israeli government is carrying out right now? Seriously, ask yourself that question, because those atrocities would be cited by our federal government day in, day out to essentially drum up more support to get even more involved with what's going on in Ukraine. But it's really interesting. We have high standards for every other world power, but when it comes to Israel, they get to do whatever they want. And if you criticize them, you're an anti-Semite. And what's so sick about this, Mario, is that there are anti-Semites out there. There are hateful, terrible people out there. And when you start calling people who aren't anti-Semites or start accusing people who aren't of being anti-Semites, well, then that just makes you question whether actual anti-Semites really are what anti.
This is a straw man. She's lying. Okay, she's obviously lying. People actually have a very, very sophisticated reasons for why she's wrong, and instead of addressing those criticisms, she lies and she just only said like, "Oh, they're calling me anti-Semitic. They're calling me anti-Semitic." So imagine like I'm an atheist and you're a Christian. Imagine if we debate and you give me your reasons for why Christianity is true and why I give you my reasons for why I'm an atheist. And then if I go around and say like, oh, and we both have like really good discussion, a lot of details regarding why I'm wrong or why you're wrong. And then I go around and say like, oh, they just say the only thing they say is like, oh, you're an atheist, you're evil. Atheists have no morals. So how could you even talk about right and wrong if you're an atheist? If I basically strawman you instead of giving you the detailed explanation that you gave to me for why I'm wrong, then that would be a strawman. This is what Anna is doing. Anna doesn't address all of the, really detailed points that people bring up to why she's wrong about Israel, but she just goes around and like, oh, they call me anti-Semitic. They'll call me I'm sure some people call you anti-Semitic. It's the internet. Everybody says everything. But you just jump on those people with the most garbage takes and the easiest criticism, and you highlight them as if that's the only thing people say against you. I mean, it's easy. It's so obvious what you're doing here. Let me go to the next anti-Israeli take of the day.
43 million people attend the funeral of Syed Ali Khamenei. How many people do you think are going to?
That's a lie. What?
43 million people attend the funeral of Syed Ali Khamenei.
43 million people. What the hell? Citation, please. 43 million. Did he say that?
43 million.
43 million attended Ali Khamenei's funeral. Are you kidding me? Where did you pull that out of? Like, what? Come on, like, lie in a way that makes it somewhat believable. 43 million? 43 million? Where did you get that number from? Give us a citation. Who is this just a regime propaganda that you're just repeating? What is the source of that information? Oh my God. By the way, guys, I don't know if you know this guy. This is basically Jackson Hinkle. This is an American that supports the Islamic Republic in Iran.
People attend the funeral.
Yeah, guys, you're right. Somebody's saying, I don't even think the IRGC is using those numbers. You're right. Not even state TV of the Islamic Republic is giving those numbers. This number is so ridiculous that not even the Islamic Republic is claiming this.
Ali Khamenei. How many people do you think are going to attend the funeral of Lindsey Graham? And by people, I mean like not lizard people, not actual skinwalking demons. I'm talking about like real human beings. How many human beings do you think will attend the funeral of Lindsey Graham? I can tell you already.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure if you start giving eggs and food and money at Lindsey Graham's funeral for the people to show up, and if you make government employees in the United States mandatory for them to show up at Lindsey Graham's funeral, and if you start bringing foreigners in and pay them to also show up at Lindsey Graham's funeral, and if you also had a whole bunch of Durka people that thought Lindsey Graham was God's representative on earth, and what else do you have to do? Also, if you make the high school students and university students, if you made it mandatory for all of them to show up at Lindsey Graham's funeral. In fact, if you did all of that, I'm pretty sure you would be able to get higher numbers than Ali Khamenei.
It will not be 43 million. It won't be anything above 43 million or close.
Well, they didn't get 43 million either, but I'm pretty sure if you did all of the things that Islamic Republic did, then Lindsey Graham would get higher in their funeral.
So 43 million, that is for certain. I'm guessing maybe like...
And also, this is an logical fallacy, appeal to popularity. A number of people showing up at your funeral doesn't make you right.
Real human beings that have like a soul and a brain and a heart and a spine, I'm guessing roughly zero. I'm guessing roughly zero.
Wow, so even when people show up, he's going to say that they're not real human beings because they don't have a heart and a brain and a spine. Wow, great argument, man. Great argument. Unbelievable. Let me see what this idiot is saying now. Yeah, maybe 41 million gens, exactly. Yeah, let's go to 43 bazillion for sure. 43 trillion, bazillion. I don't know.
What changed in 2024 and 2025 is it became really in vogue and really popular for people to talk about Jews in Israel in a negative way, also just to talk about conspiracies in general. Suddenly, that became the grift. And it attracted people that were looking for notoriety, people that were looking to build a social platform. How do we know this? Well, look at Jackson Hinkle. Jackson Hinkle, I think, gained like 3 million Twitter followers.
We were just looking at Jackson Hinkle.
Attracted people that were looking for notoriety, people that were looking to build a social platform. How do we know this? Well, look at Jackson Hinkle. Jackson Hinkle, I think, gained like 3 million Twitter followers in 9 months. What explains the explosion in engagement for people criticizing Israel? No one's going to like to hear this. You're going to call me a grifter. You're going to call me a shill. You're going to say controlled opposition, switch sides. Honest to God truth. This is the truth. Probably.
Oh my God. You know what he's doing? He's going to basically saying, guys, all of this anti-Israeli stuff is because of Muslims and it's not good quality anti-Semitism. So come to me for the real stuff. That's what he's going to say.
Call me a shill. You're going to say controlled opposition, switch sides. Honest to God truth. This is the truth. Probably it was being driven from foreign countries and the left. That's just true. Why, oh, why? All of a sudden, did it become supercharged? If you criticize Israel on Twitter, boom, 100,000 likes. You could
See, he's jealous. Okay, he was being anti-Israeli before all of these other people, and now that it's picking up, he's jealous. He's like, guys, don't come back to me. I have the real anti-Israeli stuff. This is being promoted by foreign countries and leftists. This is not the good anti-Israeli stuff. I have the real stuff over here.
literally tweet, fuck Israel, 100,000 likes. Did everyone in America all of a sudden start hating Israel? Well, some people did. But I think it was driven in part, or maybe a lot, by the Muslim world, which is very engaged online because they were the ones at war with Israel, because Palestine is their regional cause. Palestine is their religious ethnic struggle. So I think a lot like Jackson Hinkle, how many of his 3 million followers that he gained in those 9 months, how many of them came from the United States of America? People knew what he was up to before. All of a sudden, you have this regional conflict between Israel and the Arab League, effectively, or you could say the axis of resistance would be more precise. Now, all of a sudden, anyone going after Israel, supercharged, and we all know it's being driven by these Muslims. We all know we all see it on Twitter. That's who's promoting it. That's who's doing it. And so suddenly anybody that wanted to blow up and be, what's the hot topic? What's the woke take right now? What's the edgy take? What's the take that's going to get me the most notoriety? It's shitting on Israel. It's joining the Israel critical cause, being a Jew conspiracy theorist. And what grifters know how to do is just milk it for everything. That was like the wrong milk it like a cow. I shouldn't do any milking. No.
Anyways, we get the point. Let me see some other anti-Israeli stuff that is going viral these days. Okay, so Palestinian activists are very angry and say that if you don't boycott these brands, you'll be punished by Allah. Okay, let's look at this. This is also going viral these days. So these are the companies you're supposed to boycott to punish Israel. Or look, she's looking up. If you don't do it, Allah will punish you. Oh, the song is copyrighted. Wait, what are these brands? Do you guys use these brands? McDonald's. John Lipton. Wow. Coca-Cola. Always. Garnier. Nescafe. Pepsi. Pampers. Oreo. What is left for you guys? Oh my God, KFC, L'Oreal, Lay's. Okay. I have news for these people. Oh wait, let me see what she says over here at the end. Stop. Knock.
They think we'll forget. No, we won't. Together, we will rebuild Gaza, inshallah, and we will make them pay.
I mean, how could you rebuild Gaza? You guys have to go back to the cave if you want to not touch anything Israeli related. You have to go live in a cave or something. Do you understand that whatever you're using to record this video has Israeli parts in it? Do you know you have to put your Android and your iPhone? Basically, anything that has chips in it probably has something to do with Israel. So just stop using your computer and anything technologically, anything that has any level of advanced tech in it, you have to basically not touch. So boycott that. Boycott Google, boycott Facebook, boycott, boycott anything, boycott iPhone, anything that has chips in it. Anything that has chips in it, you have to boycott. Look at these garbage people with their garbage values and cultures. Oh, look at this. Actually, speaking of garbage values, there was this comparison I saw on X. I thought it would be fun for you guys to put side by side. Look at the difference between these cultures. Wait, nope. Music is copyrighted, but look at this. Guys, all cultures are equal. Look at that. Look at the equality of cultures. Beautiful. Both of them beautiful. Because both of these cultures are beautiful, right? I mean, how could you deny that? They're all just beautiful in their own ways. I mean, I really can't decide which one I like more. Yeah, we need more of both of these guys. Don't judge. Don't judge. They're both equally beautiful. Let's have more of both of these in our countries, right? Speaking of garbage cultures, let's also look at this one. Apparently, I didn't know this. I've been looking at Islamic teachings for decades, and I didn't know that there's a specific way that you need to poop. Apparently, there's a specific way that you need to poop. So I don't know if this is for women only, or is it for men as well? So let me see. Let's learn how to poop, guys. You want to learn how to poop? Let's learn how to poop. Okay, I'm gonna mute it because this is probably so. No, what is she doing wrong exactly? All right, no music. So for some reason this is wrong. I'm not getting it. This is new. Okay, so that's wrong. Okay, that's wrong probably. Okay, what is she supposed to do? Why is that wrong? What? Why? I've never seen this one before. What the hell? What? So she's supposed to put her arm out, put it on her belly, sit, and then put her. Why? Why? I don't get it. What is this? Oh my God. Where's the hadith for this? Belly, sit, hand on ear, and then you poop? What does that do? Why do you have to poop like that? I don't know. I don't understand. This is new for me. To push your poop, duh. Okay, I don't understand. Okay, one more video. This one is from Toronto police. Guys, I haven't watched this. I don't know. I have no idea what we're gonna walk into. Toronto police. What is this? Let me remove the banner.
Contacted by the Crown at the Ontario Court of Justice to assist with the case that they had. So they asked me to reach out to the victim and make sure she's safe. And
guys, by the way, they're saying that this is real video. This is not satire. So that usually that means that this is going to be really bad.
Contacted by the Crown at the Ontario Court of Justice to assist with the case that they had. So they asked me to reach out to the victim and make sure she's safe and take her home.
He drove me home in the fabulous Pride SUV. And as he was driving me home, we reached a stoplight, and then an individual in a pickup truck came up to us.
A transgender cop car. Look at that. Are you guys cops, or you just identify as cops? That's none of your business, and I'm hands-free. So there's nothing you can do. I'm just asking you a question, Sergeant. You cops, or you identify as cops? I have no idea. That's reality doesn't exist anymore, right?
Part of me was shocked, but part of me was not shocked. I am a trans woman. I've been transitioning for 8 years. I get harassed and vilified every day of my life.
Whoa, what? Okay, what the hell? They're treating this like, look at the song. Oh my God, I'm so sorry for you guys. This was the most traumatic experience. Look, you look at this music, like they're treating it as if this person did like a drive-by shooting or something. Like this is like, oh my God, this is what you're putting at TV. Wow, guys, what a huge crime! Look at the song. The background
I have no
song.
idea. That's reality doesn't exist anymore, right?
So they're just playing this as if something so bad and evil has happened. Anyways, never mind. Wow, somebody with an opinion showed up and said something to you guys that you didn't like, and you turned that into a TV segment. Amazing. Anyways, let me see how Ahmed, thank you so much for the super chat saying, how many anti-America Islamists are there in the US? Isn't this because of extreme freedom of speech? Some people don't deserve this freedom. No, I don't believe so. I think that America is as powerful as it is because of the freedom of speech, partly because of the freedom of speech that you have, right? If you don't like certain speech and you want the government to stop it, then you're giving the government the authority to come and thought police people, and there's no way that you could control that, and there's no way you could guarantee that the government that you just gave the authority who controls people's thoughts and expression will do it right the correct way. You just basically you were fighting a monster and then you created a bigger monster to fight the other monster. You basically created something even more dangerous than what you were fighting. No matter how bad the ideas of certain people are, giving the government the authority to police speech and basically stops the expression of certain ideas will eventually guarantee the fact that your own government will have those bad ideas, and it will use the powers that you just gave it into silencing anybody that opposes it. So just because you don't like certain speech, don't give the government the authority to make it illegal or ban certain speech, because that will eventually backfire. That government will eventually use the new powers that you just gave it against you, and there's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do about it. And United States has the highest amount of free speech, but it's not absolute free speech, right? So I'm not a free speech absolutist. I'm a free speech maximalist, and United States gets that very. I think United States gets that perfectly. There are certain things that you cannot directly threaten people. You cannot con people. There are certain limitations, and United States gets it perfectly. And thank you, Ahmed, for the super chat. Guys, we're going to go to our discussion group to do our group call in about an hour. So you could either join us. The link, I'm going to put the link to our discussion group in the chat. You could either join us there and talk to us over there, or let me actually put the link there. Or you could just subscribe to Liberty Politics, because we're going to be live streaming it. So if you go to Liberty Politics YouTube channel, by the way, the link to our discussion group is in the bio. But also, if you go to the live section, you will see that you could click here and you could watch our group call live on YouTube as well. So that will start in about 1 hour, right? Anyways, I'm gonna go get ready for that. I'm gonna go eat. I'm invited somewhere. I think on a channel or something. They have a segment on a news section. I don't know what it is, but I'm invited somewhere to give my opinions. So I need to get ready for that as well. But guys, make sure. Let me see. There we go. Make sure that you are subscribed. Okay. Make sure you're subscribed to Liberty Politics YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Like the stream, leave a comment, hit the bell notification, and tell everybody about Liberty Politics. Get them to come and subscribe to our channel. Really appreciate everybody who does that. That really helps us grow. And yeah, so I'll see you guys soon. And I'll talk to you then. The monkey had to go because of technical issues. So he will be back. He will be in the discussion group probably, right? So we'll see him there. So until 1 hour from now, I'll say Am Israel Chai, Slava Ukrainie, Cuba Libre, Long Live America, Javid Shah, Payande Iran. Mwah. See you guys. Oh, need to press it twice.